It is time for I Was a Teenage Exocolonist, which I fortunately am not in real life because I gotta say, this game is not selling being a teenage exocolonist is a thing that I think I would want to be in real life. As exciting as it is to experience all of this in fiction, I'm not sure that I would really like to experience all of this in real life. But it sure does make for compelling fiction, doesn't it? Man. So, like, a lot happened last stream. And we're gonna, like, hit the button to go onto the continue screen. And, like, everything's gonna hit us in the face. So, I kind of want to do that. And we'll say our hellos properly. I have some thoughts, kind of, about what I think this game is doing. And then we'll see where it goes from here. Yeah, the title screen music is fantastic. I would love to do a cover of this song. I think it's great. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Adam. All right. I'm going to go ahead and hit the button for us to continue on this unsettling screen. All right. So, like, they changed up the music for Everything Is Wrong and Everything Is Bad. So, like... Oh, thank you, Aki. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. So, one thing that I've kind of talked a bit about, and that other folks have talked about too, like, what makes last stream so effective, like that entire passage of the game, is that you think you know what's gonna go wrong. You know? You know that the colony is at risk of starving. That has been telegraphed very clearly for quite a while so far. You kind of have been worried that Solana's parents are not going to make it. Just once it becomes clear that people will die in this game, like, it kind of feels like that is a risk. And her mother's decline, you kind of see it coming. It still manages to be incredibly effective because it turns out things don't have to be totally shocking to be effective. Like, you don't have to surprise people. You can do exactly the thing you led them to believe you were going to do, and it can still hit like a ton of bricks. And so the death of Flulu, Solana's mom, I think we can all agree, hit like a ton of bricks. Well, I think that some people are, like, concerned as storytellers that they can't put something in a story that the players or the audience can expect. And some audience members, some people are like, oh, if I was able to predict it, then it's not good. And that's not necessarily true. You can have a thing, if it's supposed to be a surprise and it's too clearly telegraphed, that can be a disconnect. But by and large, you can have some really, really darn effective storytelling where what you give us is exactly what we think you're going to give us. And that doesn't reduce the effectiveness of it at all. It was an extremely powerful moment. It was really well told, really well crafted, and the sense of dread building to it was really effective. The only reason why I didn't cry more was because I was reading it out loud. Because it worked. It was very effective. But what they then did, you think they've led to that. That is the unsurprising and predicted tragedy. And, like, we know that Glow is the season of things going to hell. Like, at this point we've had, okay, so we are going to cycle in normal music here too. We've had several Glows now, enough to know that, like, yeah, things go to hell in Glow. But after something as heavy as that, you say to yourself, well, it can't, they can't do something really bad for glow. Not after that. At least like the glow is probably going to be relatively minor this time around. Because the rule of storytelling feels like you're going to get a break after that, you know? Yes, like where it's like an anticlimactic thing because you usually expect glow to be really bad, but they gave you something really, really painful before glow. So you think that glow is going to be anticlimactic and you kind of want and hope and expect it to be. And then it's not at all. And they didn't just do it in halves, like they leaned all in. They were like, we want this to be catastrophic, so we're gonna make it catastrophic on every level. Like killing Calm is terrible. Destroying everything, like there may be players who are attached to the mayor or the governor Udicott. Look at me pulling names out of my brain. I'm actually doing pretty well on that front, aren't I? Like, I wasn't attached to Udicott. But you might have been attached to her. That is more of a logistical conflict because that's going to open up a power vacuum that somebody else is going to have to step into, and there is going to be conflict because of it. Almost certainly. But the emotional loss is the loss of Calm, who is this kid that we've gotten to know. He's been consistently kind. I have been worried for the past 2 glows that I'm going to get him killed, trying to save me from my stupidity. You know? This time, at least, we managed to save Anemone. I'm not sure she would have made it if we hadn't intervened. But that brings it down to the personal level, as well as on the larger scale, obviously, the catastrophe of the loss of our home. You think at this point you figured out the rules, you figured out how things go, you kind of know what you can put skills in, you know where you can go and where you can take shelter. And then they take that away, which is super effective. Just as you're beginning to see what's outside and get a sense for it, they then take away the safety of inside. Very strategically crafted. Well done. Oh man, Sorrow, this is a challenging one to come in on. Basically, this is a wonderful little indie game that's like 1 part Disco Elysium, 1 part The Quiet Year, 1 part, not like a farming sim type thing, but it's something else sim, a life sim, I don't know. But we just had a series of catastrophic plot reveals and activities and things, so this could be a very exciting time to come in, although I think that this will spoil a big chunk of the game if you have any interest in playing this game. But everyone's playthrough, I think, will be different, and it is a game with replayability, which I'm going to talk a little bit about what I think they're doing there, if you folks will humor me a little bit, because I've been thinking about this, and I even made a note to myself that I wanted to remember to talk about it this stream. So then I sat down to stream and I was like, there was a thing I wanted to talk about at the beginning of the stream, and I don't remember what it was, but then I managed to remember what it was. So we know that the loading and saving and multiple playthroughs is diegetic to some degree. Not literally in terms of loading and saving like it is in Undertale, where that is actually what is happening, but the idea of there being multiple timelines is diegetic. That is part of the story. You're just gonna have to deal with me using the term diegetic because it's close enough, like it is the right meaning for what I want, even if it's not usually used in this way. And if there's another word that I should be using, by all means let me know what it is, but otherwise I'm going to continue to abuse this word because it works. But because we know that, I've been kind of wondering and waiting, like, what are they doing with it? It's already clear that Solana has access to some of these. Like, she has these strange, hazy alternate memories, this sort of alternate deja vu. And it feels like those are other paths and other playthroughs, potentially. So what I kind of wonder, and this is one of those things that you can only do in an interactive medium, And so when people are like, blah, 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 narrative exploration games aren't really games, like, no, it is. Because, like, the way in which the information is shared with you is actually something that is different. This is what I say about Gone Home, though. The fact that Gone Home plays with your understanding of the situation by what you pick up at what time, and how things are shaped that way, like, wouldn't be the same in any other medium. In this case, I think they're doing something interesting about the idea of there being multiple playthroughs. And so I'm thinking at this point I'm obligated to do multiple playthroughs. And what I wonder is, because these are called memories, okay? The way that we, like, the gameplay of the game, the card game, these are memories, not events that happen in your life. That is a very specific thing to call them. And what I wonder is, does Solana go through different playthroughs retaining her memories, or some amount of her memories? Like, does it get shuffled where only certain of these cards carry over with you into the next playthrough, and the cards that you retain affect what Solana knows and therefore open up other pathways for her to take, like branching choices? Or does she retain all of them? And I'm guessing it may be like a random pool of them that you keep, but maybe not. Maybe it's not random. I don't know. Where she has access to a remembrance of what happens in this playthrough. So, for example, say we finish this and we load up Solana or not Solana, we'll give her a different name. I don't know. I'll have to see whether I feel like carrying over the same name or if they clue us into kind of what makes the most sense. But let's say we have Solana, or Solon B, there we go, year 2, or year 10, 10-year-old kid. And she's going through her first few months of the game. This is a memory. If Solana retains this memory, she knows. She's not going to let Tammy play with that toy. If Solana remembers these things, is she going to try to take action to prevent it? Unlocking another path of story that would be really different. There have been moments where she thinks that she sees Tammy at the age that she is now. One of the people I think that you interact with in the opening sequence is somebody who looks a lot like a teenage Tammy, which is not going to happen in this playthrough. If you retain that memory, what are you going to do about it? Because if I have my memory as Lauren of playing through this game and seeing what happens here, this crisis that just happened, I'm gonna put all my points in biology. I'm gonna go dig some dirt. The thing that I feel like the game actually wants you to start off with, there's no like canonical right choice or anything like that, but it does make the most sense that you're going to start by doing the thing that your parents tell you to do, that your parents are doing. I'm contrary, and also I don't like biology. It's my least favorite science, so I just ignored it. Which makes me wonder, like, is this catastrophe that just happened something that happens no matter what playthrough of the game you're on? Your first playthrough is going to be this way. Is this the particular catastrophe that was invited by my choices to not be a biology person? And there's some other first crisis that people encounter on their first playthrough if they are biology people. And so instead of the colony nearly starving to death, something else goes catastrophically wrong. Like maybe because I have so many points in engineering, that turned off something going horribly wrong with Constance or whatever her name is. Like, this is part of why I have asked you folks not to tell me anything about this or confirm like, yes, I remember when that happened in my first playthrough. Because at this point, I don't know whether everyone's first playthrough is the same as mine. I don't know whether this particular sequence of events occurs in everyone's playthrough. I suspect that Tammy dies at the same point in everybody's first game, but I don't really know for sure. But I want to try to stop that from happening. Yeah, there's another phrase which is like the cobbler's children wear no shoes. Maybe it's not exactly the same, but I wonder if that's the same as the idiom that you're using. But yeah, like, I do think it's very interesting that, because it feels like what went wrong this time is specifically like I had no ability, like even going out into the wild. Up until very recently, I didn't have very many points in animals. I have no points in biology. My experience going outside would have been different if I had more points of those going into that. Also, if I'd gone outside earlier, I could have found more food and maybe avoided the starvation. Like, it seems like that would be avoidable if I had done some things differently. Also, Solana knows something about, she knows about the dirt getting damaged in the wormhole. And the wormhole seems to be when everything kind of goes awry with her. I can't think of what the right word would be, but the strange almost deja vu that she has. I wonder whether there's something we can do to get that dirt, to keep that dirt. So I don't know. But that's kind of what I'm wondering, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. In the aspect of this that is like a visual novel, most visual novels do actually require that you play through it multiple times in order to get the proper true ending. So you can play through it and be like, this is the ending that I got, and you can be satisfied with it, which you can also, I assume, do in this game. But if this is truly like a visual novel, which it does feel like one of the components that's gone into it is visual novel. Obviously it's visual novel plus other things like mixed together, but that does seem to be part of its pedigree. I wonder if then I have to play through it several different times where I try to and I manage to like subvert something and then something else happens and I have to learn that. And it's not necessarily finding like an optimal path so much as like kind of learning where some of the holes are and learning the overarching thing that you have to do in order to live peacefully with this planet, which I think is the end goal. I'm also really curious about who left that technology in the spore area and what the deal is there, which could just throw all of this into just absolute nothingness. Because I'm like, oh no, is that like a time-traveling Solana adult gone back in time to place that thing so it's a thing that you can do to help? Or is it some sort of like evil alien technology? Or who knows? Like my brain is running wild with 11 billion possibilities that could be. But I don't have enough information, so I'm putting a pin in that. All I'm taking away from that is that probably the spore topiary that we see there, I think that there is a very strong risk that Solana's dad is going to be the next one of those. So that I'm going to be very invested in preventing that from happening. But in the meantime, we got a lot going on that's not good for Solana. As a story, for us as people experiencing a story, it's great though. Like, this stuff is great. I like, my poor roommate, she's never gonna play this game, so I'm like, you won't believe what's gonna happen. So I've been kind of telling her for like weeks that I've been concerned about my colony starving to death, and I'm like, roommate, my colony is starving to death, and my mom died, and then an eldritch horror attacked, and they're just like, wow. She was like, are you serious? She's like, I wasn't expecting the eldritch horror. I was like, neither was I. Yeah, the Shimmer is horror. Well, it's funny because like it looks like all cute and pretty. It's like glittery. And then it seems scary, and then they tell you it's not scary. But you still feel like it's maybe scary. And Tange also thinks it's bad. But like they try to like reassure you that it's fine. Then it turns out it's really not fine. So yes, no one expects the Eldritch Horror. That's true. We absolutely have our Spanish Inquisition moment there. But yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about there. We'll see. We'll see whether I'm right or not. All I'll say is that this is what I always say, based on the pieces that I've been presented with so far, that's what I would do. With these memories, the fact that they're memories and not some other noun to describe them, that's what I would do. It is really fun taking other people's pieces and trying to piece them together. Maybe eventually one of these days I'll be able to do my own writing again. All right. Well, I've talked for like 20 minutes. That's fine. You are here. You have been here for like a couple months of me doing this. Even though I've been relatively focused on this game compared to other games, there's been slightly less rambling than usual, but still, you know what you're getting into by now. You know the drill. All right. Are you ready though? To dive in? See what's gonna happen? I'm just gonna walk around and see how bad the destruction is. Oh. Wow. That's just straight up gone, huh? Oh. Well. That's also gone. And so is that. That's where our food's supposed to be. We didn't have much to begin with. That's also gone. Literally, the engineering wing is the only thing that's not gone. I did say that people were crowding into the engineering wing for a place to sleep. Look at how good my memory is doing. But that's literally the only spot that we still have. Everything else is gone. Also, Mom is gone. That's not good. So I'm a little concerned here. We see what Tange has to say. And Mars actually had some good points last time, but I don't quite trust her. She's got some good points, but they're still mixed in with some of her stronger character flaws. So we'll see what happens. If she tries to stage a coup is the thing. I don't know that I trust her to do a good job. But I also don't know that Seek is a comedic character. They are not somebody I would trust. Like the fact that they like hate everybody and think they're better than everybody is funny. It's played for laughs, but it would be a really, really bad attribute in a leader unless they are playing it up themselves. But when it comes down to it, they can actually do better. I don't know. Well, we'll see. Maybe my points in persuasion will be useful then. Let's talk to our friends, shall we? Let's do it. And yeah. All right. Tangent frowns. I just don't understand, she says. Why now? Why does it keep getting worse? Yeah. Mars crosses her arms and sulks. What is the point of having all these kudos if I can't actually use them to, like, buy stuff we need? Like, hello? It's not like I can mail order more supplies through the wormhole. So she's had this focus on kind of, like, frivolous things. But now she's able to say things we need. Supplies. Because it's not something that I appreciate. For all that being, like, silly and... Well, I mean, she doesn't think she's silly. But being this, like, kind of spoiled brat type character, who doesn't seem to have her priorities straight. Like, everybody else is trying to do actually something meaningful, and she's, like, over here, complaining about having to actually do work and doing as little as possible and stuff. When it comes down to it, now that we're in a crisis, she is actually paying attention to the crisis and thinking about what needs to be done, which I feel like that is a weakness that some stories have, where they'll develop a character's personality as like a comedic thing, and it'll be fairly flat sometimes, personality. But then stuff happens where that doesn't make sense to be that character's, like that character's personality feels horrifically out of place, but they don't update it to match the situation that they're in, and it's very jarring. Notice somebody's not out here. And I can understand why she's not. I'm sorry, Anemone. Alright, Dis, what's up? Dis is examining a bit of rubble, turning it over in his hands. I wonder if we're ever gonna find, like, alien tech, he says. Wouldn't that be cool? I did actually find some alien tech, but I didn't tell anybody about it because the shimmery pollen almost got me. And see, the game has taught us to understand him as a character, to know that the fact that he's not dwelling on everything that terrible that's gone wrong doesn't mean that he doesn't care. He's engaging with things on a different level, in a different way, but he still cares. Oh, Cal, what are you gonna say, Cal? I know it's hard, Cal says, fiddling nervously with a tassel on his shirt. But I just think, what would your mom do right now? She wouldn't complain, that's for sure. Yeah, because my mom was basically his boss. Like his second mom. So he's trying to be inspired by her. Dad's gonna try to put on a brave face. It's been hard to talk to your dad about everything. Losing your mom, then losing the colony right after. It's too much to take. Neither of you know what to say. Yeah. I think that Cal is saying that for himself, not for you. I think he's trying to live up to this idea of what he thinks Flulu would say to him, rather than what you should be doing. If that makes sense. Because it wouldn't be like Cal to say, Solana, you shouldn't grieve, you shouldn't complain. But I think Cal would say that to himself. Alright, well, we have literally no choice. There is literally nothing else we can do but go inside. There is, let's see what we got. We are in mourning. Mourning the loss of a loved one for 3 months. All skill increases reduced by 1. Some jobs and actions can't be performed. Heroic. Well, I won't be able to do anything with that. Starving. Physical skill increases reduced by 1. All skill increases reduced by 1. Things are bad. Time is rough. I guess we have no choice. Because I can't leave. Alright, well, let's do it. Engineering. Engineering is crammed with families and what belongings they've salvaged from the destroyed living quarters. You could spend time in your crowded temporary lodging in the classroom, or help the adults try to fix things. I could mourn, which is kind of ironic that it's got... I know that this is a gameplay thing to have the smiley faces, but yeah, it is really funny, Chrono. So, rebuild. Gives you toughness, organizing. Oh, those are things I don't have tons of points in. You get kudos and stress. Oh, I'm glad to know that Mourn Smiley is an in-joke with the Exocolonist community. Okay, that's fantastic. Beautiful. Beautiful. I approve. So we don't have a lot of activities that we can do. We can't do any science. We could mourn, which actually we're actually doing pretty okay on that front. So let's see. Honestly, if we're role-playing, I feel like Solana might have just been a lump. But actually, you know what? I'm gonna say, if we're role-playing as Solana, which is something that I've actually been doing pretty consistently, I think that what Cal said struck a nerve. I think that Solana feels guilty about the fact that she turned so much against her mother. She kept second guessing and criticizing her mother. Even if she controlled her actions, she thought it a lot. Even if she knows that it was the effect of the glow beans or whatever they were, affecting her hormones rather than her actual feeling. I think she feels guilty. She thought all those terrible things about her mother, and now her mother is gone. Her mother wanted her to study under her and Solana's father. And instead of doing that, Solana refused to do anything. Even when she went in and helped with animals. She was working with her dad, not her mom. Her mom asked her to help, and she didn't. And the colony is starving, and her mother is dead. And Cal says, your mother wouldn't complain. And he's saying it to himself to remind himself that he needs to keep going one foot after another. But Solana's gonna take that to heart. She's 14 years old, and her world has just ended. She can't just mourn. She's going to have to help rebuild. Not out of any hope for the future, but out of unmanageable grief and guilt if she failed to do so. Does that make sense as an in-character thing? I hope you don't mind me having to rationalize my gameplay decisions based on what I think my character would do. This is not something I'm accustomed to doing in a game like this. Tabletop role-playing, yes, absolutely. Everything that I do is exactly what my character would do. But we're doing it here. It's fine. So we're going to rebuild. I don't know how well this is going to go, but Solana is going to try. She's going to throw what she's got into it. The first month of quiet passes, each day plodding one after the other. You still have trouble sleeping in the classroom barracks, but there's nowhere else to go. Every day you wake with the others and try to make the best of it. Grief and anger come in waves. Not just for you, but for everyone. Some days are better than others. You're assigned to help rebuild the walls. The first part of the month is spent just dragging away the wreckage, sorting it into salvage or recycling. By the time that's done, crews disassembling parts of the stratospheric have delivered enough salvage that you can begin work patching up the walls. A sense of urgency permeates the crew. After everything, people need to feel safe. I don't know how a wall will help with that, given that a wall didn't stop them last time. Yeah, I suppose her taking engineering classes after what happened to Tammy was a really early moment of role-playing, because that's the first year of the game, wasn't that? And I was already thinking kind of what would Solana do. That's interesting that this game has managed to do this in a way that a lot of other games haven't. Perhaps it's because this game is better written than BioWare games. Perhaps it's that the character decisions that you make are less about wish fulfillment and more about character development. Anyway. It's okay. I know some of you legitimately love BioWare games and get very different things out of them than I do. Sorry. So I've been kind of wondering, what was it that the Eldritch Horror was trying to do? The Eldritch Horror kind of looked like the sentient bok choy that we had in our animal area that we thought was food, but then it wasn't food, it was a living thing, and I tore some stalks off of it and then learned not to do that. The Eldritch Horror looked like it was the fully grown version of the sentient bok choy. And so one wonders, from its perspective, did it come into the nightmare hellhole where its brethren were being tortured by strange aliens who are tearing up the planet, slaughtering and torturing everything that they encounter? Perhaps from that perspective, we are the Eldritch Horror, and the gaping dragon bok choy was actually a superhero. I don't know. But what is it going to do next? We're gonna have to we're gonna have to make our peace with the planet, I think. Because this feels like a game in which the solution is going to be something based in understanding instead of violence. So I think we're going to have to make our peace with the planet. I think that Solana and the other kids are going to have to, Solana especially with her sensitivity to alternate timelines, will have to pick up on bits and pieces about what's going on with the planet so we can use that to guide how we engage with the planet and hopefully avoid it coming to get us. And maybe we can even get it to help us find food and shelter and things like that, and then we have a symbiotic relationship with it. But that might be asking a little too much. We'll see. Dis is on the work crew with you, something he does begrudgingly. Walls didn't help the first time, he grumbles whenever anyone asks for his opinion. We should just tear them all down and live like the animals do. If someone planted a bunch of buildings on my land, I'd be pissed off too. I mean, he's got a good point, honestly. I don't disagree with him on that. But what would Solana think? There's the guilt that made her push into this instead of mourning in the first place. But okay, so first of all, this is her not boyfriend. Maybe boyfriend. I think he's her maybe boyfriend. I think that's about right. And they have the closeness and an understanding. So she's more likely to listen to what he says. Even though sometimes she disagrees with him, and that's okay. Oh, hi, Johnny. Oh, welcome. I've thought about doing Mother 1, but I'd have to do one of the versions that's been made less grindy, I think, in order to be able to tolerate it. But I have thought about it. There's just so many good games out there that I want to play. What am I gonna do here? Mother 1 does have very excellent music, though. I can definitely give it that. Yeah, I do have a harder time with games that have much more sparsely distributed story when it comes to streaming them. I don't know if I'm entertaining enough to fill all the gaps in between. I'm trying to decide, what would Solana do here? Because this isn't wrong. If someone planted a bunch of buildings on my land, I'd be pissed off too. Yes. That is absolutely the vibe that I'm getting from the way that our colony has integrated with, or rather failed to integrate with, the planet that we're on. We come in here, we start tearing things down, eating what we think are plants, but are actually animals that we're probably treating in really horrifying, painful ways. Like all of these things from the planet's perspective, from the animal's perspective, it's all pretty awful. I don't know. I wonder whether somebody built the Shimmer situation. I would say a self-defense, but these... Well... Do you like a really stupid out there idea that just popped into my head? There's something significant about the fact that the topiary creatures, like the topiary, each of those topiary sculpture statue things, they are bodies. They are bodies of creatures on this planet. And it seems as though you get summoned, like called to that space. I wonder whether perhaps this is a defense mechanism of some sort that the planet itself has, because I have this idea that the planet itself is a sentient being. I wonder if... Because I had this theory that your dad was going to go there and become the next Topier, and that was in some way going to buy peace between the planet and your species. But now I kind of wonder whether that in some ways how you like become an animal of this planet. Perhaps your dad's form would change shape into something more appropriate for this planet, and in so doing kind of doom the rest of humanity to take that shape. So I start wondering, are the creatures that we see on this planet, although they do all seem like they have evolved to coexist off of each other, would this planet turn us into something that is actually part of its ecosystem through that process? I don't know. If that's not what they're doing with this story, then like, don't let me write horror, because that's what I would do. If somebody presented me with this, that is a thing that I would do. Is, are we colonizing or being colonized? This game is called I Was a Teenage Exocolonist, and it is a very, very, very good story-driven, one part visual novel, one part life sim, one part deck building game. Is that correct? We are wannabe colonists who are failing horribly. Yeah, we're not doing so great right now in game. It's very good. It's very well written, and the characters are really good. The art is fantastic as well. The gameplay is actually really quite effective. I really enjoy it. Also, everybody is dying and everything has gone to hell. So, part of that I called. And part of that caught me quite off guard last stream. It was very much a 1-2 punch, and I only guessed the one. So the 2 caught me square in the jaw. Bam, this is my illustration of what happens. See? Bam. But yes, when Deltarune Chapter 3 releases, I will be very excited. But in the meantime, I have such good games as this one to play. So if you have feel free to pull up a chair. This is a very spoilerific stream, this particular one. Actually, last one, well, it's fine. It's fine. It's very good, though. This is a very good game. I've been looking forward to seeing what happens next. Oh no, Chrono. Chrono is gonna clip me punching myself in the jaw. Alright. So I have to make a decision, folks. What would Solana do? What would Solana do? Work hard? Or this is pointless? Where I was going with that is that if this is pointless and we live like the animals do, will we eventually become the next wave of animals? Is that an unhappy ending? Is that a bad ending of this game? All of the humans get transformed into some sort of creature that is part of the planet's ecosystem, with all of humanity lost forever until the next playthrough. That's scary. I've scared myself with that thought. Yeah. Like, the thing is, I think she would agree with Dis. I think she would say to Dis, yes, you're correct. That makes sense. I understand, and I think you're right. But I think her actions would still be to work hard. If that makes sense. I think that's where I would land. I'm going to lose friendship points with Dis. That's fine. He'll still hold pinkies with her. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we're going to work hard. We're going to do this. Loyalty. By the end of the month, you've made noticeable progress. There are other priorities and not a lot of construction material, but when last year's mushwood harvest is done drying out, you'll be able to do more. Even if Dis is right that it didn't help the first time, it's better than nothing. That's correct. I'm glad that at least this builds in an acknowledgement that it didn't help the first time. Get to work. Rebuilding the colony. Oh, +2 bonus to pairs. Oh, okay. What do we got? With how much the push through, how much stress that is. Although, what if I did this? It's still not a super cool. What happens if I... That's not going to do it, though. No, it's not. We're going to do that. Okay. No super win. Alas. Alas, alas. And yes, if nothing we do matters, all that matters is what we do. Yes, you can create meaning and find meaning. If no larger meaning exists, then we make meaning based on our own lives. Let's do this. Why not? Look at how good this is. I'm sorry, I'm grooving. Okay, so I got distracted thinking about the music. Okay, let's do this. Win. Oh, I did actually get some points to toughness. That's so many modifiers. So many modifiers. One challenge, starving, heroic, and in mourning. That sure is a pile of stuff going on. I got some points in organizing. Mom's gonna like that. Wait. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. No, she's not. I never did get to tell Mom about my day. Yay! Oh, God. I just realized that it's... Yeah. The suns finally dawn again on your birthday. You wake early and climb to the top of engineering to watch the first sun's watery rays break the horizon as the wormhole recedes across the sky. Dawn should represent hope after a long period of darkness, but this light only reveals the full extent of the damage to the colony. You've been having trouble sleeping like most people. It's hard to find rest crammed into the classroom with all the other kids and their families. And every time you close your eyes, you see... You shake your head to clear the memories. Oh, that was a really good choice. That was a really good choice. I thought that they were going to, like, shake the screen, show us the Eldritch Horror, any number of things. No. Isn't this more effective this way? You pull your blanket more tightly around your shoulders. Not your blanket, that one's gone. And stare out as the sun rises on the horizon, meager and sickly. The fact that it's not even your blanket, that's just one of those little details, that little extra twist of the knife. Hey, kiddo, you hear. Then your dad comes and sits down beside you. I was looking for you. Nice view, huh? At least we got a rooftop patio out of the deal. He laughs a little at his own joke, then just sort of trails off with a sigh afterward. He puts his arm around your shoulders, and you sit in silence for a while, watching the sunrise pick out all the broken glass littering the fields, glimmering like a field of stars. Neither of you really know what to say. It's clear your dad feels like he has to give you a pep talk, but there's an impressive nature to the silence that makes it feel impossible for either of you to start. Eventually, he just sighs and his shoulders slump. I know things seem pretty bad right now, he says, squinting into the sunrise. It sounds like it's taking all his effort to not cry. But it'll get better. It has to, right? You're not so sure. At least your mom wasn't here to see this, he mutters. That's the silver lining, I guess. You watch the sunrise together for a few more minutes. After a bit, your dad musters up a brave smile and pulls out a little box tied with a piece of gardening twine. Happy birthday, my little rutabaga, he says. It's funny, Dad's always been such a happy-go-lucky guy. Even when things are terrible, less terrible than this, but even when things go poorly, even when something's wrong, he puts a dad joke, he puts a spin on it. Your mom may be serious, but he's always got some levity, even when you're like, Dad, you don't have to try to have levity here. Yet even that is failing him now. This is more than he can handle with that. And I like that. I like, again, they build up expectations that you have for the characters, who the characters will be, and how they'll react to things based on how they've been so far. But they don't just stick to that, because it turns out that human beings are more than just a collection of character traits, you know? We don't just have the 2 or 3 things that define us, and every single thing we have to say is related to one of our 2 or 3 things, you know? It's a thing that I think less skilled writers struggle with. Something that's kind of frustrating sometimes when they build an entire setting. Now he's actually incredibly earnest. Like, your dad is incredibly earnest and adorable, and he comes across as kind of innocent and childlike, and not like childish, but he has like a sense of like childlike wonder and joy at life. He's very playful, but he works very hard. He's very, like I said, he's very earnest. He's just the more playful one, whereas his partner, your mother, is very serious, like, all the time. But sometimes writers will create a setting in which this is the city in which this is the thing that we do, and then every single character in that city will talk about the thing that we do. Or you'll have a character where this character cares about tea, and so every single time you talk to that character, the character says something about tea. You'll have random conversations that have nothing else, and that character's observation will have to do with tea. A super serious story moment will happen, and that character will find some way to compare it to tea. I hate that. I would go so far as to say I despise that. It is a very good way to make me put your book or game down and never pick it back up, because for me that is not the least bit engaging whatsoever. That is not what I'm interested in storytelling. So I very much appreciate that this game doesn't do that even on a small interpersonal level. Like, again, Dad is the one who can always find levity in the situation until he can't. That makes it hit harder how bad it is. And also that tells us that he's not going to do grief right. He's not going to do parenting right. Like, he's not going to know exactly what to say. He's not going to do exactly the right thing. He's not going to say exactly the right thing. He's caught up enough in his own grief that he can't say or do the right thing. I think that's good. I think that people, a lot of times, if a character's supposed to be likable and sympathetic, increasingly I feel like people expect that a character needs to say or do it right. Characters need to do grief right. Characters need to do relationships right. And I'm like, no, people are people, and they will do it wrong. And it is very hard, actually, to try to do everything right. Believe me, I've tried to S-rank everything in my life. You can't actually manage to pull that off. That's not actually how it works. So yeah, I figured you might relate to that, Chrono. But yeah, so I like that Solana's father here is, he's doing his best, and his best isn't even as good as we might have expected from him, because, well, have you seen what just happened? That's a very good way of putting it, Chrono. Trying to pick the right dialogue option. As though you can pick the right dialogue option with the people in your life and somehow avoid conflict, avoid hurting them, avoid them hurting you, something like that. But it turns out that nothing you can do will guarantee that you get the result that you want from someone else. So you might as well make a choice that you can live with, if that makes sense. Yeah. Life lessons right here. It's still a struggle, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's easy, but that is, I think, you eventually kind of have to come to terms with that. Make your peace with the fact that you will never be able to make everyone else happy. So you should just pick the answers and actions and things that you can live with. Yeah, I don't like Super Mario RPG. I'm sorry. It's not for me. I did play Paper Mario and The Thousand Year Door, and I liked a lot of elements of both of those. And I liked what I played of Superstar Saga many, many years ago, but Super Mario RPG is not for me, unfortunately. Sorry. I know a lot of people like it, a lot of my friends do. I am unfortunately not one of them, but that is totally all right. You are allowed to have different taste. Let's see, what is this little box that Solana's father has given her for her birthday? You know what it is before you open it. Your old medallion, the one your dad made with the sun on it to represent Earth, was broken during the attack. In all the chaos, you didn't even notice, but your dad did, and made you a new one. It's just like you remembered. A similar design, with a wormhole this time to represent Vertumna. That's really interesting. The fact that it's the wormhole is very interesting to me, because it feels like the wormhole is responsible for Solana's like sensitivity to these alternate timelines that are going on. There's something interesting to me about the significance of it's just like you remembered. The fact that I remembered is italicized. Like you didn't notice that you lost your medallion. I didn't notice that you lost your medallion. There's something going on here with memory and the wormhole and Vertumna and Earth. I feel like that's significant phrasing that I don't know, but we have that now. That is a sweet and lovely gift, because he must have made that very quickly. You thank him and squint out at the swirling wormhole still barely visible in the brightening sky. It's so massive and awe-inspiring this time of year, but it always seems to herald disaster. You're happy to watch it fade away into the daylight. Yeah, it was going through the wormhole that resulted in such damage to our ship and the loss of the soil that we were counting on to be able to grow our crops, if I remember correctly. The first time he gave you the medallion was one of the first deja vu moments. Thank you, Blue Glass. Okay, maybe I had mistaken that. Or forgotten that. But, okay. That makes sense. Interesting. I wonder, well, something's going on with that, and I don't know what it is. I don't have all the pieces, but I've pinged a little bit about, like, something's going on with that. Your dad slaps you on the back. What a birthday, huh? Here's hoping they all get better from here. You both head back downstairs to the wreckage of the canteen, where they've put up temporary roofing with whatever tarps and scraps could be found. The colony nanoprinters, the few that still run, have been working day and night to replace the necessities of life, but larger construction projects are going to take some time. Aunt Anne has coaxed the kitchen nanoprinters into making soy gruel and pressed bars. Life-sustaining, but depressing. You and the other colonists eat your breakfast in stony silence as you mentally prepare for the day. Chief Administrator Seek has taken over as interim governor until the council can elect someone new. Last week, they held a mass funeral for everyone who died. There's talk of turning the Stratospheric's destroyed front half into a memorial shrine after everything useful has been salvaged. There's still so much to do. Like, the upside is that they will all become earth, soil. Fewer mouths to feed and more soil to use to plant crops to feed those who remain. Yay! Great. Early quiet into mid-quiet. Alright, time to talk to our friends. What's up, Tange? Tangent paces outside the engineering wing, the only building still standing. With everyone living in here, there's barely enough room to think. Yeah, she is having a bad time. I do appreciate being able to see the holopalm. I think I said that the first time we saw this. Yeah, it has not been very long. Well, look. A lot happened, okay? This wretched planet, Mars grumbles, gazing at the wreckage of the Stratospheric. That was my ship! But you can't go hating the planet fully because, like, I think we're gonna have to make our peace with it. I think we're gonna have to... Yeah. Hey, Dis. Dis is sitting on a pile of rubble, looking out over the colony wreckage. He doesn't look particularly sad. What do you want? Yeah, and here's Cal saying, just think, what would your mom do? She wouldn't complain, that's for sure. Hey, Dad. Alright, same dialogue option for him. Wrong button. What's the one I want? Oh, right, it's the memories is the gear. Photophonor is pretty good. And I have a whole lot of social cards. So the Sun Medallion, as good as the Sun Medallion is, that's only the first round. This never runs out. So I think we're going to go with that. We're going to continue to have our flute out. Oh, you know what? Let's have a good time. You're 15 years old and a fast learner. You've got a knack for finding hidden things or staying hidden when you need to. And creatively, you're in a class of your own. She, her. Yeah, my perception and creativity are insanely good. All right. I don't have a lot of information about Anemone. Cal. Don't have a ton about him. Tangent. Dis. Mars. Nothing new on them. Tammy. Flulu. Starved to death when you were 14. Dad. A kind man, always patient with children and animals. Udicott. Killed during an attack when you were 14. Calm. Killed during an attack when you were 14. Great. Seek. A neat and organized individual who keeps the colony running smoothly. They don't like kids very much. So, like, there aren't very many candidates for leader. Like, Instance is so busy that it is hard to imagine her taking on the role of governor. And Tira, I don't know if we know enough about her to know whether we would vote for her. Utopia is young and inexperienced. I don't know. She feels like she doesn't have the experience to do this. Rhett, I don't know. I would be worried about having the military leadership is always kind of iffy. Antecedent is everyone's mom. I don't know if she can make big decisions like that, and I don't know that she'd want to. I don't know if my dad would be any good. Clearly, we just need to elect congruence. It's possible also that other NPCs will kind of emerge from the nameless, faceless background. Because as Lee Glass points out, there are characters we haven't met yet, and some of them we may never encounter in this playthrough. But there are 8 characters we have not met that are on this list. So I wonder. We don't have really much else we can do here. I think we're gonna have to go... Yeah, we're still heroic. We're still in mourning. We're still starving. All I can do is mourn or rebuild. At this point, I feel like Solana's kind of going on, I think that Solana is going on autopilot at this point. She's just kind of numb. So she will continue rebuilding. Less because of guilt than last time. Also not because of hope. But just because what else can you do? What else do you do? Other people are continuing to move one step at a time, so she will do the same. Let us rebuild. You're assigned to help out in geoponics. The agriculturalists have been hard at work trying to salvage what they can of the ruined fields and the destroyed greenhouses, but there's still a lot of work to be done. Your dad has taken over as chief cultivator. Succeeding your mom was already difficult for him, and now there's this. He's never been the kind of guy to hide from hard work, but he's been pretty distant lately. I'm really worried about what's going to happen to him. When dust happens, he's going to have to be on essentially suicide watch with the Shimmer. There's no better way for me to put that. Cal's working in geoponics too. He smiles when he sees you. Hey, Solana, there's lots of stuff to do. What do you want to work on? Repair the greenhouses, work in the fields, or rebuild the animal pens. Well, the animals were my dad's thing, but now he's taken over as everything. I have a lot of points in animals, but this is building animal pens. Then again, I'm very interested in what's going on with the animals and the planet. So I think I'm gonna rebuild the animal pens. The greenhouse is Mom's territory. I don't think I can face that. Working in the fields doesn't feel like rebuilding, and I think that Solana wants to work on taking a thing that looks broken and make it look less broken. I think she needs that. It's like the satisfaction you get when you clean something that was dirty. So I think she's going to rebuild the animal pens. She has some happy memories of being there with Dad. So we're going to do that. The pens only suffered minor damage during the attack. Weirdly, most of the damage seems to have come from inside the pens, as if the normally tame animals had been stirred into a frenzy. Gosh, I wonder why. Maybe they don't like being held prisoner. Tangent is also here, though it's not to help hammer and nail things. She's studying the animals, trying to figure out what could have influenced them. She takes blood and hair samples and readings with some sort of complicated brain scanning device. Interesting, is all she says, not explaining her findings to you or Cal. Everyone is worried that this will be the final nail in the coffin for your food supply after the famine last year. You try not to think about it too hard, instead focusing on just doing what you can to help rebuild. Alright. Cool, card becomes physical. Well. Value is wild, that's always fun. 1. Wait. Why was that 0? Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Okay, well, we're gonna do this. Ah, wait, no, hold on. Hold on, no. So what I want to do is 2, 3, 4. Oh, wow. I just realized that that is bad. Wow. I am really not... I wonder if there's anything else I can do here. Hold on, we're gonna try this. Okay. 21 feels like as good as it's gonna get. Wait, hold on. We're gonna try this, actually. 2. Wait, no. 2. 2. Oh, the highest value, and it doesn't count with a tie. You know, no, that's not gonna work. Okay, well, that's fine. Yeah, okay, 21. I think that's as good as it's gonna get, guys. I do have stress to spare, that's true. And in fact, that feels pretty in character, doesn't it? For the situation that we're in right now. Doesn't that feel pretty in character? Yeah. I think that's where we are. Neglecting toughness finally comes back to hurt us. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I wonder, I guess, if this goal is based on, like, how many points I've got in this, but if the goal is easier if you have more points in the thing. Maybe. I don't know. That would make sense, actually. It's fine. Let's do this. We're going to push through. I genuinely think this is as good as I'm able to get. Nah, it's okay, Chrono. I will continue to be mistaken if I'm mistaken. Yeah, so we're going to push through and take extra stress. It's fine. We've got stress to spare. Still managed to get some points in toughness and organizing. Cool. Mom would love that. Oh, that's right. I did get multiple injuries. Oh, good. You're eating in the mess tents when you hear something rumbling. Wonderful. Your bowl and cutlery start rattling. People look around in alarm. Could it be another attack so soon? You begin to hear shouting from outside. Someone runs into the tent. There's something falling from the sky, they shout. It's on fire. Well, if there's one thing I love, it's fire. Why is the colony on fire, folks? We didn't ask for that. So the picture's going to change and everything's going to be on fire. You join the crowd of people leaving your temporary structures to gather in the colony square. People are squinting up into the milky, quiet sunlight, pointing and gesturing wildly. It's impossible to miss the thing hurtling towards you from space, like a great big ball of fire coming straight for you. Is this it? Is this the end? After all you've been through, a meteor is going to land in the middle of your already ruined colony and kill you all? Is this going to be a second colonizing ship? If this is going to be a second colonizing ship, I'm going to have feelings. The Helios lands in age 15. Oh, snap! Oh, snap! Oh, snappity, snippity, snappity, snope. Well, that's interesting. May I take a moment? May I take a moment? You see, in the novel that was my master's thesis that I need to go back and rewrite, the backstory of the planet, they are a colony on a planet. And there was a group of people who were persecuted on their home planet and decided they were going to up and leave and go to this podunk planet that wasn't good enough for any of the people with actual wealth or power to want it. But it was good enough that they were like, we think we can live with this. So they go there so they can finally live in peace and have their own space and not be marginalized by their planet. And then, so they do this for a while, and they eke out an existence for some time. Like, they when they land on the planet, things go wrong. Not everybody survives the cryo-freeze process, etc. And then they have to figure out how to make a new home on the planet. But they do. It's hard, but they manage. And they're like, well, at least it's ours, and nobody can come along and tell us what to do and mistreat us as we have been for millennia by the dominant powers of our planet throughout history. So we're doing okay, you know, us and our primary group of people, as well as like other people outside of our own marginalized group, basically just like, did you want to escape planet one, which is like Earth, whatever. It's not our Earth, but for the sake of the story that I'm telling, Earth. So a bunch of people and cultures and stuff are like, you know, screw that back home. It's not great. So they all come and they're making this new home. And then some folks from the dominant power back home land with a more sophisticated ship and more sophisticated systems. This is a couple generations in, maybe. Because they had the advantage of more time and development on their home planet, while everyone else that was on this planet, known as Refuge, was in cryosleep, crossing the planet, the time for a long time, or crossing space for a long time. So they come faster and have better technology and stuff. And they're like, don't worry, we'll be neighbors. Everything's gonna be fine. We're such good neighbors. We were neighbors back home. We'll be neighbors here. Everything's fine and dandy and great. So the novel itself actually takes place several generations past that. It goes real well. It goes great. They are fantastic neighbors. I'm still building out some of the backstory, I think, because I think I need to have worked out a bit more of this before I can build the aftermath of it in the planet. So I've been working on a series of short stories that are the backstory of Refuge. I've only finished one of them. I started writing another one or two of them. One of them, because they each have different narrators from different time periods throughout the history. One of them I think is very funny, but I never finished his. Anyway, so I can share part one of that with folks, but I haven't finished any other parts, but I would love to be able to do something with that. Anyway, so this is why when I said, like, if they've got another colony ship coming here, I'm gonna have feelings. Let it be known that I wrote this book in like 2015. And came up with more of this backstory stuff in 2017, which I actually talked through a bunch of it on stream. I did a bunch of setting brainstorming on stream when I decided that I was going to work on rewriting it. But there's more work that I need to do and things, but I'm hoping maybe to actually be able to pick that book back up. I don't know. We'll see. It's called Heart of the Machine. Maybe I'll pick it up, but at some point we have to finish the Refuge short stories first. So if anybody wants to be a beta reader for Refuge, the pre stories to Heart of the Machine, like, by all means, feel free to volunteer yourselves. In fact, if anyone wants to just straight up read part one of that, I have it up on Google Docs. If you want, I can share the link on Discord. Or you could read my fanfic. That's true. That is freely available right now. No, I'm hoping to make audio versions of some of my short stories. That's the thing that I'm working on, to kind of learn what I'm doing. But right now I'm trying to see if I have any budget for voice actors, or if I'm going to have to tell people that I can't pay them. If I have any budget, it's going to be like $15. So it's not going to be a lot, but the principle is different. If you're like, I can pay you $15, as I don't have any money, but I'm going to pay you something. It's a different thing than saying, I can't offer you anything. But I suppose if all goes well, I can do the short stories that I've been planning out and working on for like that first set, and then I could maybe try to finish writing some stuff for Refuge, and then maybe I could do a series of Refuge stories for this, because that's what the planet's called. Man, Why'd you have to read my mind from the past, Exocolonist team? Well, we'll see what they do. I have to be careful not to let this influence what I've done. But I don't think it will, because their setting is so connected to our Earth and mine is not, that I think that is by necessity going to change the situation. However, I will say, if the people on this ship are the rich and powerful people from Earth who kind of shoulder us aside, I'm gonna be like, damn it. Well, at least now it's recorded for all of posterity. I had my ideas. And of course, like, there's no original ideas, etc. But I'm not taking inspiration previously, at least, from them. But we'll see. They took inspiration from the Quiet Year, and I'm inspired by the Quiet Year. And sometimes I thought about running a game of the Quiet Year myself about Refuge. That actually might be really interesting to do, a setting building, like do a Quiet Year of Refuge. I think that might actually be really good for kind of figuring out some plot stuff that happens. Maybe I'll do that. We'll see. Okay. Mars grabs your shoulder. It's another ship, she exclaims. Look, look, it's another spaceship from Earth. Excitement ripples through the crowd. Could it be? I am going to say, though, given the circumstances of this game, and rather the circumstances of my colony at this point, this feels like a Deus Ex Machina, which is also totally fine. Totally fine. It's not a complaint, but you've brought us down so low that it would be really hard to save us. You know, it would be super hard to save us with what the pieces we've got, so you kind of have to pull something else out. And lo and behold, what is it? Another ship coming down to colonize our same planet. You stare up, unbelieving, at the rapidly approaching ship. The flames of its entry into the atmosphere dissipate, but a thick column of greasy black smoke trails behind it. Soon you can hear the whistle of it ripping through the atmosphere at terminal velocity. All right, well, I have so many points in engineering right now that I'm going to say that is not a controlled descent. I'm sorry. The girl who spent way too much time studying the sciences and being a nerd is going to say that is not a controlled descent. My other options are it's coming right at us, or whoa, we're going to go with this. It's an enormous ship coming at you way too fast. The ship's reverse thrusters fire, trying to slow it down so it doesn't smash into a billion pieces when it hits the planet. Everyone scatters to take cover. You crouch behind some rocks, throw your arms over your head, and squeeze your eyes shut. It is really impressive if on this entire planet it is landing in the exact same place that we did. Perhaps more than coincidental, but I believe that there is some sort of fate manipulating entity or presence here, so I'm totally willing to swallow it. You hear the massive spaceship touch down in geoponics, plowing through the fields and grinding over what was left of the greenhouses. Great. You're thrown to the ground from the force of the impact as shrapnel and small rocks zing past your head. It grinds along like some roaring monster, cutting a great scar through the colony and kicking up an enormous cloud of dust. Finally, the ship comes to a creaking, shuddering halt. You and the other colonists carefully crawl out of your hiding places, coughing and rubbing your eyes. The new ship is half buried and obscured by dust, but you can tell it's from Earth. You squint to make out stenciled letters. Heliopause. That's why I took so long to talk about it. A hatch opens in its side, and silhouettes begin to emerge. Great, cool, wonderful. Okay, Chrono gives us a definition. Heliopause. The boundary between the solar wind and interstellar wind where they are in equilibrium. I don't know that I can wrap my head around what solar wind and interstellar wind even are. Because they're not literal wind. I assume it's some sort of, like, electrical force providing pressure to move in one particular direction or something like that. Electromagnetic? I think electromagnetic. That sounds right. Charged particles. So it's named wind to let me know that things are moving, because wind is air moving. So solar wind is sun moving. Matter from the sun moving. Man, I'm not an astronomer. I'm not an astronomy buff. I think space is cool but scary. All right. Oh, shit. Sorry. Silhouettes with guns. Soldiers march out of the dust and quickly surround all of the remaining colonists. More soldiers form two parallel lines from the ship to the square, their guns in parade rest, and a lone figure strides down the center towards you. Right? Who was in charge on Earth previously? Well, capitalism and militaries. So, not gonna lie, this is not what happens in Refuge. So, whew. No, they it's more of a kill you with kindness, and yeah, it's more of a cultural pushing you. Anyway, it's a very different scenario, so we're good. We're all good. I never thought of myself as a science fiction writer because I wrote so much fantasy, but it turns out I do actually like writing science fiction. I don't know if I'm any good at it or not, because I don't know that I'm any good at like the science part of things, but there is this one story that has science, but it also has souls, sort of. Well, it's fine. It's fine. There's robots. You'd like that, Blues. There's robots. It's the one with robots. It's the thing that I used to call the robot story. But it is more than just the robot story. In the background doesn't have robots, although eventually there's the creation of the androids, really is what they are. But I haven't written any of that yet because I'm still kind of trying to figure out. Because I threw away the old canon. I don't know what the new canon is. I don't know. Look, writing is fun and cool and hard, and I miss it, but I'm not doing it. But we can always sit back and watch Vertumna eat them all alive. Yeah, Vertumna is going to attack them. Maybe Vertumna will be like, maybe I shouldn't have messed with those guys because these guys are a billion times worse. Weird, sinister sponge cake dirt. That's true. We did find that. All right. Well, this is going to be great. Greetings, fugitives of Earth, the man says, spreading his hands wide. Oh, no! No, is he a pirate? He looks like a pirate, not a soldier. He looks like a pirate. Doesn't he look like a pirate? None of that improves our situation in any way. It's just slightly different scenario. Other kinds of bad. He's got serious guns on him, like, of the, like, variety. I don't know why they would be bounty hunters. I feel like pirates. Yes, he's dashing for a commander of gunsmen, which is why I think pirates. Well, it is true. Like, I'm very amused that the artist has made sure that you can appreciate. He has a boob window. If anyone is listening and not watching, and you want to look up at the screen to witness a man in a boob window, this shirt on this space pirate is providing such. So enjoy if that is your jam. Yes, if they developed way faster space travel while you were on the way and now they're space pirates. Yeah, it could very well be that this is much faster space travel. This is not like a half generation space travel. And now they're space pirates. We'll see. Be very exciting. Space pirates can be just as awful and terrible as military people. But I have a different reaction to them emotionally. A dismayed murmur ripples through the crowd. The adults exchange significant looks. Chief Engineer Instance tries to slip out of the crowd, but she's stopped by the line of soldiers. The man smiles. He has a broad, easygoing smile that doesn't match the threatening aura of the soldiers, nor the smoking ruin of the ship behind him. I am Commander Lum, he says proudly. Maybe Loom, like as in luminescent. As captain of the Heliopause, I have come to render aid and bring you to justice. Cool. Great. It is Lum? Okay. I guess he wouldn't have the same naming convention that we have. So he's going to render aid and bring us to justice. Because capitalism is mad that we that we ran away. Actually, no, I bet this has to do with congruence. I bet this has to do with the tech we stole. I bet that he got hired by some corporation to come and get her back. I bet that's what it is. I think that's probably what our space crimes are. I think that makes him a bounty hunter then. He is a space bounty hunter, which I mean, like, do you actually have bounty hunters that are not in space? No. No, you don't. I went to a Star Wars metal concert last night. If you ever get the chance to see Galactic Empire perform, you should absolutely do it. They are really stellar. I'll post some videos from it up on the Discord if folks want to see, because I took some clips. I've got a clip or two of Power Glove too, but I was more excited about Galactic Empire. I have one clip of Danimal, but I was mostly just watching Danimal because he's my friend. But we'll see what congruence says, but I'm pretty sure, because, like, frankly, nothing else we have, I think, is so important seeming that they would travel all the way here to get it back. But it's interesting that he has come to render aid. How do they know that we need aid? Where did that come from? Did we send out a distress signal or what? Yeah, I don't remember us sending out a distress signal of any sort, Sorrow, so it does feel rather suspect, doesn't it? And well, there is that technology in the spore place, so we'll kind of see what happens. I'm very curious, so I can either listen with the others or try to sneak away. Solana, what would you do? What is your face? What is that expression? I can't tell I don't know what her expression there is trying to convey. Solana, are you going to listen with the others or are you going to try to sneak away? I'm going to listen with the others and then yell at them and get into trouble. I'm going to be a mouthy kid, maybe. I think. I'm still thinking through, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? No, I have to actually think about what would she do? Sorry, not that this is a very big decision, but it is a decision that I need to think about because I can't just make a decision. I wouldn't be indecisive Lauren if that were the case. Okay, so Solana, desperate, starving, hopeless, in mourning, injured, brave. Mom is gone. Calm is gone. Food is gone. Everything is terrible. I have studied a lot about Earth, actually. I have studied a lot about Earth. As much as I could. I know that the humans, or rather, I know that the adults have kept something from me. Like, they have their bias. But I have been learning a bit more. So I'm trying to think about, like, okay, what is it that she wants to do? Like, obviously, this guy wants to bring us to justice for our space crimes. That's concerning. I don't trust him. I don't like being rounded up by soldiers. That is uncomfortable. Rendering aid, that's great. But being brought to justice, not so much. Sneaking away would be like, I'm going to gather with my friends and plan, what are we going to do? Maybe if we sneak away, we'll be able to, like, a few of us would be able to remain independent of the others, and that might become useful long term. However, we'll just die. If we are independent from others, like, there's no food. There's no food. The planet wants to kill us. If we sneak away, we'll eventually reconnect with we'll either die or we'll get rounded up with everybody else. So I think we're going to have to stay and we're going to listen. Yeah, we're going to listen to this. Mr. Bounty Hunter, Space Pirate. Listen with the others. Seek steps forward out of the crowd. You're not the commander of the Heliopause, they say firmly. Governor Udicott was expecting Commander Morikawa. Everyone is surprised. Udicott had been in communication with this ship? For how long? Betrayal. betrayal. She must have reached out. She must have been like, we're going to die. We're going to starve to death. I need to summon help, even at great cost. Presumably, she sent out a distress signal, thinking it would be better for us to be apprehended than to all die. I am captain of the Heliopause, Lum repeats stubbornly, then adds, according to the chain of command, we, sustained a significant loss of personnel when we went through the wormhole. You can't help but notice many of the soldiers exchange looks this time. You wonder how many people had to die before Lum became commander. That's interesting. As the commanding officer, Lum continues, I declare this colony to be under our protection. As such, you are all now subject to the laws of Earth. Wonderful. I'm pretty sure that those are not good. Seek bows. Now, they stammer. There's no need for dramatics. We're a diminished colony, as you see. Governor Udicott died in the most recent attack, and Fluorescent passed away a few months ago. Even Technician Halitosis is gone. You see, we're quite leaderless. Wait, your mom? What would these Earth cops have wanted from your mom? You notice Chief Engineer Instance is being held with her arms behind her back. She glowers at Lum with unbridled hatred. Oh, so what this is that these are the individuals that probably would have been under arrest most directly. Because my mom was harmed in... My mom was a soldier of some sort. I don't know exactly the specifics, but she's clearly fought, and I think that's where she lost her leg. And yes, his name being Halitosis is very strange. It's a choice they made. So Instance, Mom, Udicott, and Hal, I guess, might have all been in on something. And Seek is aware of all of it. Seek is aware of what's happening. I'm not quite sure what they're doing. I don't know if they're throwing us under the bus or actually effectively trying to help. We'll see. Lum turns to the assembled colonists. Well, why don't we fix that? He declares. Say hello to your new governor. You hear a few gasps of shock and outrage, and Lum raises his hands placatingly. Let's not pretend you don't need our help, he says, and we could simply arrest you instead. But there's no need to demoralize your little colony further. Judging from the number of guns on display, you don't think you have a choice in this. This is interesting. I thought we were just going to have to worry about the planet, but it turns out that the real evil is humanity. It's the true monster. No one knows how to react. A new governor from Earth? Nearly 100 new colonists, most of them trained soldiers? What does this mean for the colony? The crowd disperses slowly, and the council members follow Lum back into the Heliopause, presumably to talk about the future of the colony. You hope. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my dad took over for my mom, and therefore he's in there, so he might not even get a chance to have Pollen and Shimmer and all of that. You track down your friends. So what do you think about these new people? Mars asks. Oh my goodness. Anemone's losing her mind. So I can say, I'm glad they're here to save us. I'm excited to make new friends. They're just going to boss us around, or I don't want to share this planet. Well, I'm not glad they're here to save us. I'm not excited to make new friends. My concern is not that they're going to boss us around. That is a bad way of phrasing what I'm worried about. Or I don't want to share this planet. They're going to boss us around might be the 14 or 15-year-old way of explaining that we are about to live under military rule and it's going to be really unpleasant. Because I don't want to share this planet with them. I'm not quite sure what she would mean by this. Like, I don't know what the intent of this line is, if that makes sense. It's interesting. Dis isn't here. I think he slipped away. That's very Dis to have slipped away. Yeah, I think he must have. He's good at it. He knows where to hide. Nobody will go looking for him. He has don't look at me as an aura. So 3 or 4. They're just going to boss us around, or I don't want to share this planet. So Anemone is going to be really angry at this planet. I actually feel like each of these is lined up with one of your friends. Anemone wants to be saved from the monsters that killed her brother and almost killed her. Cal is trusting and loving and good-hearted and will try to befriend anyone and everything. Mars doesn't like to be bossed around by anyone else. She likes to be the one doing the bossing. And Tangent... It's not that Tangent loves the planet, but I think she doesn't like crowds. So what do I think about these new people? I think they're going to boss us around. And yeah, because each of these lines up so well with the characters, specifically because the expression that we see on Anemone's face reminds us, like everybody else, like these two are kind of in like their normal, actually all three of these are in their normal expression right now. But Anemone is not in her normal expression, and that tells us that she's not okay. So if I were to metagame from that perspective, I would side with Tange. I don't want them here. I don't want to have to share the planet with people like them. If they showed up and were friendly, I think Solana would be okay with it. Tangent, I don't think would be. Tangent doesn't like or trust other people. Honestly, it is fitting with the way that the characters are continuing to develop over the course of this game for me to agree with Mars. Solana has agreed with Mars more than she wants to recently, and I suspect that we are going to eventually become rebels together. So, alas, I think my friendship with Mars is only just beginning. But, shall we go ahead and pick this option? You folks ready to pick the Mars option? Sorry, Tange. They're just going to boss us around. Oh, Tangent nods. Oh, interesting. They don't live here. They don't know what it's like, and they're just going to swoop in and act like they're better than us. She hugs her arms around herself. Did you see what they were doing to Instance? That's right. Instance is basically like her surrogate mom. The entire colony, now twice as many of you, sets to work on salvaging the wreckage of the Heliopause, tearing it down and combining it with the Stratospheric's remaining engine section. Spirits are high, though these new colonists from the Heliopause aren't like any people you've ever met before. With their uniforms and weapons, they're more like an invading force than a rescue. You aren't sure what this means for the colony, or for your future. Well, if we're tearing down the Heliopause, how are they going to get back? I mean, I assume that they're going to be in communication with another colony that's going to come through, or another ship that's going to come through and get smashed. But they're not going to be prepared. Well, we'll see whether they've actually got stuff on their ship to help us grow. Hey, maybe one of them will become the pollen sacrifice. The polony. Words. Next month. Oh my god. As the dust settles, you rebuild your colony around this new ship, the Heliopause. The new arrivals, soldiers mainly, are aloof at first. Many see you as fugitives. Oh, this feels like this is part 2 of the game. Especially because we've got this music, the title music playing. This is not the first time. This is the second time the title music has played, right? Other than the title screen. But it's interesting that they are aloof at first, because you can't live among people in as desperate a situation as this without interacting, at least on some level. Together, you build new walls, living quarters, greenhouses, and a massive bunkered garrison. The Strato's engineering wing is the only reminder of your old colony. Which is where Constance is. The Heliopause brought enough rations for another 5 years, as well as a rich seed bank and working hydroponics. Finally, an end to the slow starvation you felt for years. They also have more guns and explosives than you've ever seen in your life. Even the ship has guns. Why did they bring so much? Did they plan on living here? Are they colonizing it for Earth? I guess maybe they are, and then Earth will come here. Interesting. A full stomach, a roof over your heads, and the promise of safety convinces most stratocolonists to accept the Helios. Oh, congruence. Did I get the name wrong? Sorry. In turn, the Helios decides that you criminals pose little threat. A grudging peace is brokered between the two groups. You decide they aren't so different, really. There are even Helio children born among the stars just like you. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't expect that. Oh, constants would be congruence and instance. Oh, I see. I see. Okay, well, maybe that could be a thing. Okay. Look at that! We have a new location. This looks more like a bedroom on Earth as opposed to what we've had so far. After a month of hard work, you and your dad move into your new quarters, and you have your own bedroom for the first time in your life. You place a picture of your mother on the shelves beside your bed. That is interesting. Yeah, you spent your entire life sharing a room with your dad and your mom. Like, just everything is going to be different. This will be more like how things are on Earth and less like how things are done in our luxury space called communism. It's not very luxury. You step out onto your very own balcony to watch the new colony. Its grounds bustling with so many strangers and strange new ideas. Interesting. I wonder if this is where the Disco Elysium part picks up and we get to decide how we want what philosophy we want to follow. We'll see. You feel something rising in your chest that you haven't felt in some time. Hope. Excitement. What will the new day bring? You better get out there and find out. Starving status has ended, colony defense has gone up, and stress is gone. Oh man. I'm heroic and clear-minded. I could either rush outside to greet the day or cautiously step outside. How is she? Well, I don't know. I feel like Solana's emotions are just a big tangled mess right now. Like, I'm going to have to untangle how she feels about the things that have happened. It's a lot. Like, so much has happened. And, like, these people said they were gonna, like, arrest us. But then they basically just settle with and intermarry, I guess, presumably with us eventually. And our two colonies are gonna be, like, we're basically becoming one colony. The fact that they're just building rooms for us and giving us space just like they give themselves space, like, because they're like, these pathetic colonists are no threat. So we'll just use them as part of our colony. That's fine. Like, absorb them. Your colony population has just gone up. It's very interesting because I expected them to be more military than they've been. It seems like Lum he doesn't seem very military. I'm curious how he got to the position that he's in right now. I don't know if they think that we're good people so much as that they think we're harmless. I think eventually we may wind up becoming friends. I'm curious to meet these new kids too. Solana's mourning status has been removed. So we could rush outside to greet the day. Or cautiously step outside. To me, like, I can see hope, but I don't know about excitement. But I don't know, because she's really young. And to some degree, I feel like young people are a lot more likely to kind of accept what happens. Obviously, the younger you are, the easier it is for you to accept without questioning. But it's just kind of like, well, this is your reality now. I guess we might as well make the most of it. So maybe we'll have like a bit of a like, sure, let's be positive, and then that'll fall away when the reality of it changes. I don't know. Or she could be tentative and hesitant. Honestly, no, she's been through so much trauma that I cannot see her being like, everything's fine, I'm excited. She's not that kind of resilient. So I'm going to cautiously step outside. Okay, we're back to the same music. I'm going to pick up some mushwood logs. Okay. The plants. Oh my god, there's a new person. Who is adorable? Oh my god, do you see the cute? Oh! There's a cat person. Wait, it's not... Okay. Looks like Mars has a friend. This is, of course, far away from everyone. Dad is up there. Well, that'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. Dad's got something to say. Oh my god. Hi, Anemone. You are from the Fire Nation. You can't tell me otherwise. I guess that's probably like the new gate guard or something. Gathering some stuff. Ah, this is ours. I think that's still the engineering. All right. Well, shall we talk to people? I guess we'll talk to people. Let's see what happens. Hi, Cal. Cal is kicking a small beanbag into the air, trying not to let it touch the ground. He's not very successful. That new kid, the dog boy, Rex, showed me how to play this, he says, groaning as the beanbag hits the ground again. It's a lot harder than it looks. Okay, there's a dog boy named Rex. Huh. A fun nature fact. Keep between rounds. That's cool. All right. Shall we meet this cute person? Let's meet this cute person who is dancing and kind of has like a stingray look going on. I don't know. Oh my god. They're so cute. Oh my god. They're so cute. You've seen Nomi Nomi around since the Heliopause landed. They're around your age and barely 1.5 meters tall, only coming up to your shoulder. You've never seen anyone dressed as strangely as they do. Hi! Their voice is high-pitched and quick. I'm Nomi Nomi. No, Nami Nami. It's short for nomination. They do a little twirl and bow. You introduce yourself and... Oh man, they are really, really cute. Okay, so they do have the same weird naming convention. I assumed that the weird naming convention that we have was specific to us, so it's a little strange to me that it is coming from these other people who are presumably not anything to do with... Because, like, part of the reason why we have the naming conventions that we do is to do away with our heritage of other cultures on Earth. His name is Lumber Support. Thanks, Whooper. Okay, I'm going to ask them about their outfit. I can ask about their outfit, their gender, or what they do for fun. I mean, I've got their pronouns, so they're really cute. Okay, ask about their outfit. Oh, this old thing? I designed it myself. A Nami Nami original based on the outfit Lavendula Starlifter wears in the 3rd season of Turbo Girl Hyperjet Transform when she has to work undercover as the lead singer of an idol group. They stick their leg out. Only I changed the bottom part, and of course I have to wear my gaming gauntlets. I call them gaming gauntlets, but they're really EnviroSuit gloves that I modded so I could play holo games through them. Do you like games? My faves are Laser Fable and Dig Dig Digger Dog. Laser Fable is so much more fun now that we can play outside with room to run around. What kind of holo games do Strato kids like to play? Nami Nami stops to catch their breath, winded after their extended outburst. I can read this kind of dialogue just fine. I am very equipped. So I can either get Nami Nami to calm down, challenge them to a game of Laser Fable, or politely extricate yourself. Thanks, Chrono. No, this is good. This is good. I can totally do characters who ramble. That is dialogue. That is a dialogue type that I have. I have points in presenting. Even though actually this is not the way that I talk, I think it may have been the way that I talked when I was a kid, and it is something that I can wrap my head around and put on. I want to challenge them to a game of Laser Fable. I think that would be fun, and they're cute, and I think Solana would think they're cute. They actually look kind of like Solana. Oh my god, this game. It has been so much. It is amazing. No, last stream was the whole thing with the starvation, and I obviously, like, you know, we knew that was coming. That was nicely like telegraphed. Yay. And then mom dying, which was very clearly coming too, but still hit like a ton of bricks. And then you're like, okay, well, Glow's not going to be that bad. There's no way that they're going to follow that up. You know, this will be our lightest Glow yet. Surprise Eldritch Horror. I was like, I'm pretty sure that this is the end of the game. Like, I was like, I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna get like a bad ending. I'm pretty sure I've done something wrong. So when Solana managed to not die, I was very impressed with her. But I was like, what are we gonna do? And then they're like, something's coming from the sky. And I'm like, is it another colony ship? And lo and behold, it's very exciting. Yeah, no, the Eldritch Horror is really fantastic, honestly. It was so effective. Especially, like, my current theory is that it's the, like, grown-up superhero form, maybe the, like, Final Fantasy XIV primal style form of the sentient bok choy that we encountered earlier. For lack of any other comparison, that's the vegetable that it most resembled to me, you know? That I accidentally pulled pieces off before realizing you shouldn't do that. I'm very concerned. Like, I'm relieved a little bit that these folks are not as military as I thought they were gonna be. Instead, we've kind of got a space hunter pirate, space pirate bounty hunter vibe going on. Yes, the bok choy summoned a primal. Look, that's what it felt like. Gosh, I'm serious. So it's not gonna be like 100% military, which I'm relieved about. And this child is precious, and I love them. Oh. I'm looking forward to talking to the rest of the kids. There is something really nice and relieving, although a little bit unsettling, about this return to relative normalcy. Oh, is my bot down? Oh, good. No, the bot is back. Yay. No, it's like, I don't know. It's very effective. It's very effective. Like, I was really into all of, like, the little things, and oh my god. Okay, so I went into the plains? Was it the plains? No, the valley? That place. The pollen nightmare place with the topiaries that I'm seriously deeply concerned my dad is going to join. I am not happy about this sort of events. I'm very concerned. The uncanny valley. Yes, no, and like I almost lost my character to the she like almost got, like, barely got out of there. So I don't know that she remembers the topiary, and I'm not sure she told anyone about the topiary, but I'm very afraid the dad is going to be the next topiary. And I was thinking that was kind of maybe going to be like some sort of like a symbiotic relationship between the planet and humans, but now I don't know, because the arrival of the second colony ship has kind of thrown off. I mean, they're probably going to be even less thoughtful about the planet than we've been, which seems like it's going to have consequences, but they also have bigger guns and might do better against an Eldritch Horror. In which case, maybe the entire planet will just open up and eat them. Yeah, I'm really concerned, but I feel like the fact that there are kids, it's possible we might wind up staging a teenage rebellion, which is like teenage Lauren or child Lauren's like absolute favorite thing in the entire world. So I am like gonna be very excited if I get to do that, even if it means that I'm gonna apparently be friends with Mars. When did that start happening? But it did start happening. She's like my least favorite. I was like, no, why is the worst person you know being right all of a sudden? It's very exciting. No, but I did sort of start romancing Dis without necessarily expecting it. I'm pretty sure that Tange is Ace Arrow, and I want to respect that. So I'll just romance her brother instead, because they were my best friends. All right, let's play a game of Laser Fable with Nami Nami. I'm glad when they tell me what their name is short for. because then I know how to pronounce it better. Because I was gonna say Nomi Nomi, but if it's short for nomination, then it's Nami Nami. Nami 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 Nami. See, I think that that's intentionally designed so that you can say that. It is fun to guess them, and then you have to pivot to be incorrect. Like, I had a hard time with Dis. I thought Dis was something else. I think I thought he was Dis. But then he's Dis. Alright, well. I'm gonna play a game of Laser Fable with Nami Nami. You're on! Oh, it's combat. I don't have any points in that. Nami Nami helps you install it on your Holopalm and explains the rules. Laser Fable is an augmented reality game where you bounce hologram lasers off real objects nearby. It's speed-based, so you're running around and bumping into each other, and there are extended house rules about when it's legal to block each other's lasers. You can tell that this game is made by people who play games, because the house rules are very important. I'm not even a board game type person, so house rules are less relevant for me. Although I do tend to do homebrew tabletop games systems, but how I do understand the importance of house rules because the few times that my friends can actually talk me into playing a board game with them, there's almost always some sort of house rule. And I have played Uno. So like, I think it's impossible to play Uno without house rules. Like, I don't think it's possible, you know? I think you have to have house rules with that. So there you go. All right. Let's see. Oh man. Check it out. Goal of 63. Well, I'm hoping that my... Oh man. Let's see. So I got 3 rounds. Because I was doing really great having like a million super goals for a while there, but then I started starving to death and everything was really hard, and I had all this stat what's the opposite of a booster? What's that called again? Oh, there's a word. The opposite of a buff. Debuff? Is it just buff? Debuff. Did I just disconnect? Chat is being okay. The chat reconnected. Am I still live? Okay, good. All right. Yeah, sorry. It had the spinning connecting to chat and I was like, what? Okay, sweet. Good. All right. Let's see what we can do here. I really probably should place. I have so few stress points right now. I could just take advantage of my stress not being an issue right now and have a stressful event. No big deal. It's all good. 2, 3, and 9. So that's 17. What happens if I do this? Oh wait, this is gonna be 6. Okay. What was the other one? How many points did the other one give me? 15? Hold on. No, not that. This, and this gave me 17. Or I can do the threes. This is 13. That's 11. Or that's 17. You know, it's fine. It's fine. We can have a stressful event. I think we're gonna be all right. Or we could just get rid of Mars. And count on getting more. Yeah, we'll hang on to this if we need it at end of round. Yeah. We're gonna do this. We're gonna go with the 11, I think. Maybe. Or no. Yes. No, yes. I'm gonna stop being indecisive. I'm just gonna commit. I'm committing to it. We're gonna do it. I might regret this. Okay. Look, okay. Mars has been my least favorite character for so long. Okay. 22. Now I could put this here. I think that's fine. That seems like a fine choice. We'll see how I'm able to pull it off next time. We're gonna do that. All right, let's do it. Ha! Yes. Okay. 4, 4, 4, 3, 3. Oh, look at that! Yeah! Although I could see if I could get the super goal plus kudos. Nope, that's not a super goal. All right, super goal time. I don't even usually care about things like super goals, but I care about the super goals here. Because I just do. All right, it's super goal Sunday. Thanks, Chrono. Oh my god. All right. I got a little too stressed. Oh, I got a point in combat. I'm so good at combat. Look at that. 2 points. Amazing. Right on, sister. Nomi gives you a high five, then with a couple of quick flicks on their gauntlet gives you a kudos for winning. They explain how this is how they always play Laser Fable with the kids from Heliosphere. Except they mostly don't want to play anymore. They say they're too old for it. They just want to be soldiers now, except Rex. He's still cool. Oh, Heliosphere is the combination of Heliopause and Stratosphere. It's a ship. I'm sorry. But that's what it is. It's a ship name. Look. I've been reading Murderbot fanfic, okay? So, like, ships can have romances if they want to. They can have aromantic romances if they want to. Okay, so, like, ship, like, relationship ship. But they're ships, like spaceship ships. So it's a ship that ships the ships. The ship in Murderbot is Murderbot and the spaceship Perihelion, so it becomes Murderhelion. Is the ship and ship shape? Maybe. Oh man. Nami, do you approve, Nami? I do feel like Nami would appreciate this. Nami. Yes, we did good. I'm just that cool. Okay. I'm concerned that the kids want to be soldiers, but there's still time for us to corrupt them. And so, like, this whole, like, rebellion thing, I haven't been super rebellious so far. Solana's occasionally stepped a foot in the direction of that. However, we have now been introduced to military forces to rebel against, which is definitely good for your longevity. But it is much more appealing. Nami would be on Space Tumblr and Space AO3. That seems fair. Okay. Well. Rex is the one that I thought was a cat boy, but is apparently a dog boy, so I will need to take a closer look because I haven't said hello yet. I just did a little circumference walk to, like, see what was up and pick up some mushwood because what's she gonna do? Spumbler! Oh no, Chrono, that's fantastic. Spacer. Either of those, that's... Spao3. Okay, Chrono. Spumbler and Spao3, yes. This is terrible, but we got it. Beautiful. Okay. Well, yes, I think we can agree that Nami is part of those. Because, I mean, they're creating cosplay. They're walking around in altered cosplay. They altered their cosplay to more effectively accommodate their video game controllers. I think they read fanfic. Okay. So I got some friendship with them. Oh my god, they're so cute. Their little animation is just too cute. All right. Mars, do you have a friend or a rival? Oh, they're heterochrome Heterochromia? Is that when you have different eye colors? I think is the word. All right, Mars, what's up? Mars says, what do you think about the new kids? Mars asks. Most of them are very, you know, soldiery, and I suppose that's okay if you like that sort of thing. Rex is a total hottie, though, and from what I hear, she makes a significant expression with her eyebrows, conveying something. Well, you know, she continues, I just think I have a chance with him. She has referenced earlier something about the only kind of physical activity she wants or she's interested in is not sports, but and therefore I assume that she could be the opposite of Tange in that regard. All right, shall we talk to the hot dog boy? I don't know, he looks pretty adorable and silly to me, but you know, he's way taller than Mars, and that may be her thing. All right, let us meet the boy. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hot dog boy, indeed. Yes, that is correct, Whooper. Well done. Alright. I had a hot dog the other day. And fries from a hot dog stand. It was good. Where is the portrait? How can we discern whether we agree with Mars or not without this? The colony's full of new people. Everywhere you look, you see a stranger. It's disorienting after growing up in a closed spaceship. You never expected to meet any other humans that weren't made here on Vertumna. This is a very good point. It would be very jarring if you've never had the experience of seeing somebody you didn't know. Other than that mysterious stranger. Let us not forget that mysterious stranger. I have not forgotten that mysterious stranger. Something interesting is happening, and I don't have enough pieces to really guess what it is. So instead, I'm just throwing really crazy mini golf theories out there because that's all I've got. Eventually, you know, we still have 5 years of the game for me to start piecing things together, so we'll see what I do. But yeah, it would be super jarring to be like, to look over and see a face you don't recognize, because just in your entire 15 years of life, that's literally never happened. So, it's a good point. You bump. Oh, he's adorable. Oh no. He has puppy dog energy. He makes me think of Zach Fair. That's adorable. You bump straight into one of these new people while you're jogging through the colony. Oof. He laughs and holds you steady, brushing the imaginary dust off of you and giving you a wide-fanged smile. Hey, it's one of the kids from the Heliopause. You think his name is Rex. No, Chrono. Look, I love Zach Fair, okay? And yes, no, this is the second boob window we've seen from the Heliopause character designs, so I think it's safe to say that that is the fashion there. Seems to be with he/him characters specifically, so. Zach Fair, but even more dog. Yes, Gondaga, Dog Gaga. All right, we're figuring this out. They're both pretty good. Okay, that's right, that's right. Full name. They've all got the full name thing going on. No, that is a good point, Whooper. We have to think about this. Obviously, he's named Rex because it's funny to have a dog boy named Rex, because Rex is actually a name that you could name a dog, which maybe will help me remember his name, although I've actually been doing better with names in this game than I expect, given how bad I usually am with names. Rex. Okay, so presumably his name is not Tyrannosaurus Rex. Do I know any words that have the word Rex in them? Thing is, X's aren't all that common. He does have spikes on the collar of his sleeveless black shirt, yeah. Well, he's got the kind of transparent thing going on that on his sleeves that Mars also has, so like no wonder. He's really adorable. Okay, so I could either have a hot dog boy reaction to him, or just say, hey, what's up? Or, hey, I'm Solana, welcome to Vertumna. So we know that Solana is interested in boys because she's been interested in discs. So I think from a role-playing perspective, there is possibility. But given that the people that we know that she's drawn to are Tangent and Dis. I'm not sure Rex is her type. And granted, you know, people can have different types. Absolutely. And you can discover a new type, especially when you're young. But I'm just going to say, I feel like the twins and Mr. Rex over here don't have a ton in common, as far as I can tell. Oh, no. No, we got to have the moment with Dis and the song, and it was beautiful. But I do think that Solana is actually going to make friends with these kids. And if Dis, for example, winds up feeling betrayed by this, I think it will actually drive a wedge in between them. We could have so much teenage drama. I love the teenage drama while, like, also existential threats are surrounding our colony. All right. I want to, honestly, I want to pick the really chatty, friendly answer instead of your hot stuff answer. I'm sorry. I don't feel like Solana, at least this incarnation of Solana, would be totally into the hot dog boy. Plus, Mars is so stubbornly determined to make us rivals. She so desperately wants us to be rivals. And Solana refuses to be rivals. While still, you know, continuing to absolutely destroy her at the festival every time. But it's not that we're rivals. I just love that I kept trying, actively trying to piss Mars off, and she always liked it. Like, Mars, what? So I feel like since we talked to Mars first, and Mars has expressed her interest in Hot Dog Boy, I feel like Solana would be like, we're not going to be rivals. Oh no. Oh no, Phil, no. Okay, well, I'm glad that the puns have not ceased. Yeah, Mars can be playing an Otome game. That's fine. I mean, Mars is definitely doing things on her own level. So, you know, if she wants Hot Dog Boy, that's fine. She can have Hot Dog Boy. So I'm not gonna react to Hot Dog Boy. I'm sorry, there's just something about, like, the friendliness and the way that he looks. Like, it is because Zach Fair is a puppy dog. Oh no, did you just do a catch up? Oh no. Okay. Oh, you're right, Sorrow. In fact, we could set these two up, thereby winning against Mars. That is actually exactly how, in my head, now that I've begun to roleplay my character, that is exactly how I feel like that would play out. Would be that Solana would be like, I'm gonna win by setting you up with this boy, and Mars is like, I've got no complaints, like, friendship points with Mars, and Solana's like, damn it. Incredible. Mex or Rars? That's a good question. I feel like Rars is better than Mex, but I don't know. Either one of them sounds kind of dirty, which I guess is maybe appropriate. All right. Hey, I'm Solana. Welcome to Vertumna. You stick out your hands and shake his, and he laughs. You notice he's wiggling his dog ears. They can really move independently. Pleased to meet you, he says. I'm Rex, and I love to shake a paw. I know a ton of tricks. He winks. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, buddy. You're not Solana's type. She likes brainy introverts. She likes to be the extrovert with her brainy introverts. Not that I know where she would have possibly gotten that from. There's no way she could have possibly inherited that from her player. So I'm sorry, but the dog boy who's making dog. The fun thing is, I feel like you couldn't make dog jokes about Rex, but Rex is making the dog jokes, so it's okay. Incredible. I've learned his augment. He's not exactly hiding it. Rex puts his hand against his cheek, looking cute and lost. Hey, since I'm new here, do you think you could help me find the construction yard? I thought I might apply for a job there. Then he flexes, and all the people who are attracted to men swoon. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't think he's Solana's type at all, but they could be friends. Yeah, the flirting options right out of the gate, that is hilarious, given that I feel like I had to work really hard to be able. I flirted so hard with Tange, and she got so uncomfortable, so I'm just gonna let her be. So I can either say, I'll take you there. It's in command that way. So I can be like, no, I'm not playing along with this because I think he knows that he is good looking and it seems like he is using it to his advantage, which makes me feel like he and Mars would be, you know, more power to them. Absolutely. They can go make very beautiful babies. But I'm going to wind up befriending them both. I mean, you realize I'm going to befriend Mars. I didn't want to, and I was angry about it, but it's going to happen. We're going to stage a rebellion. It's going to be beautiful. All right. I'm going to take him there, though, because we're friends, so I'll say I'll take you there. You walk him over to command. Everything's moved around since the Heliopause landed, but the construction yard is still in command where it always was. At the entrance, you meet Mars, filing her nails, looking like she's waiting for somebody. Gosh, Mars, what could you be waiting for? Why, hello, cutie, she says to Rex. Where did you come from? He looks her up and down and grins. I'm just an angel who fell from the sky, darling. Why would anybody step in between this? They are made for each other. This is amazing. You try not to gag as the two of them flirt. You give a loud ahem and point Rex toward the construction yard. He looks back at Mars over his shoulder and winks as he leaves. Okay, they don't need me to set them up. But you better believe I'm gonna meddle with that if I can. Because this is clearly destiny. Just look at these two. Look at these two. They're like not idiots, so I can't say look at these two idiots. They even know, like, they're like just completely shamelessly schmoopy, so like more power to them. I'm gonna go flirt with my uncomfortable nerdy introverts instead. Mars is really pretty though, I will say. She might, I don't know that she has the prettiest design, but it's in the running. Like, frankly, antecedent. That's the one that I'm thinking of. That's the crush mom. She's really pretty. Like, so pretty. The moms are, maybe it says something about the fact that I've like crossed a threshold of age myself, but the moms are so pretty in this game. All right, well, so that's why these two are standing together, because they are destined to be schmoopy together. Hello, my not boyfriend, maybe boyfriend, my quiet, brainy introvert. Oh, good. Everything dies, Dis says, plucking at some dead grass and blowing it away into the wind. Plants, people, civilization. Even this planet's gonna die in a long enough timeline. He dusts his hands off and rests his chin on his knees. Why even bother fighting it? Why try to do anything at all? Oh no, kid, no, that you are falling into the pit of existential depression. I spent a lot of time there myself as a teenager. It was not a good time. This poor kiddo. I'm gonna distract him by, oh no, I don't have, no wait, did he like the flower? I know that Tange likes both. I don't remember, hold on. Can I, okay, I have it. It says so right here. He only likes the roots that I've seen so far. And I can max out my friendship with Tangent if I keep giving her flowers. That's right, because I got the flowers from that field. I had to spend some flowers. God, I was really struggling out there. That was really hard. Yeah, like, sorry, just, she's really pretty, but I think it's possible that the prettiest character in the game. Just, can we take a moment to appreciate Antecedent? She's beautiful. This is one of my types right here is the thing. I've dated multiple girls who have resemblances to that, so like, look. All right, oh, we do have, oh, we can see if we can give mushwood logs and maybe somebody will like it. Amazing. Mars didn't like it. Oh, do we want to go talk to Dad? That's gonna be hard. Isn't she pretty, Sorrow? Just saying. Okay. Oh, this might be hard. So I'm walking slowly. All right, Dad. This one's gonna hurt. Even though it hurts, you find yourself wandering over to geoponics. It feels not good to be here in the place your mom loved and ultimately gave her life to, but not good either. It feels like when you have a bruise and you can't stop yourself from pushing on it because the pain reminds you the injury is real. Like your mom dying is this huge invisible wound, and poking at it forces you to feel something instead of just being numb. Okay, that's a damn good metaphor. Your dad is taking time off of work. Your parents worked double and triple shifts during the last growing season, and now that it's over, it just feels so cruel. When people work hard, they should be able to look back on what they did and feel proud. Instead, there's just this huge gap where your mom should be. You find your dad sitting in your mom's personal garden. It's miraculously starting to grow again, despite being trampled flat during the last attack, and neglected during the famine before that. Still, various vertumnant flowers are starting to sprout, as well as hardier earth ones, like dandelions. My favorites. Your dad looks up and musters a smile. He pats the bench beside him. Yeah, well, it works to have, like, the thing is, like, in some games that's kind of a problem when you have this, like, emotional whiplash of, like, things are funny and silly and then, like, oh, by the way, this hurts. But I feel like part of what makes it work in this game, I mean, part of it is just the fact that the circumstances that you're in are larger than life, and so you're going to have, like, crisis and loss and pain on a large scale, but life goes on. But also because you're a teenager, everything kind of feels ramped up, even without glow beans. And so I feel like that works really well, having that be the characters that we're experiencing this through. Because things that are the end of the world are going to feel like the end of the world. And then, like, frankly, I feel, and maybe this isn't quite correct, but it seems to me like, teenagers are maybe more likely to get wrapped up in what an adult might think of as insignificant nothingness. Like, an adult might just get depressed about what's happened and leave it at that. But a teenager is still going to get wrapped up in teenage drama, even when, like, personal crisis or catastrophe has happened, even when existential crisis or catastrophe has happened. Like if that makes sense, like, it fits. So am I going to sit quietly or talk to Dad? Okay, so I have been building Solana up partly the way that Lauren builds every character that she gets a chance to build up, because I like a character that can meddle a little bit. So she's got a little bit of empathy growing here, and so I think of it as she's somebody who, like, she takes to science very well, like, hence all the points in reasoning, engineering. She did great as an engineering student, but she kept wanting to put points in humanities. She kept being interested, like, she wants to be creative. Like I said, her secret dream, I've decided her secret dream is to be an entertainer, is to be somebody who creates art and moves and inspires people with her music, which was a dream she was never going to tell her mom, because, like, you can't say that that's your dream when your colony is at risk of starving to death. But, like, that's what she wants to be. So she wants to understand people, and she wants to move people. And so she's trying to understand them. She's trying to understand where they're coming from. Look, I might be projecting here a little bit, okay? Just a little bit. But so I think that she's started thinking kind of about, like, you know, what does her dad, like, the circumstances and how the loss of her mom essentially took away her dad's ability to make jokes and have that levity that's been such a defining part of him. Like, okay, so one of my cousins served in the military in the Iraq, like, he went to Iraq during the, well, things weren't so great. Before he left, like, all growing up, he was the class clown. He was the lighthearted, good-natured, goofy guy with something funny and charming to say all the time. And then he came back when his service was over. And if I had ever doubted that war changes a person, I would not. It took a few years for him to really start laughing and joking again. Like, he hadn't fully and utterly lost himself as a person or anything like that, but like he'd become a lot. It had a really, like, that experience had taken away a lot of his levity, his natural levity, if that makes sense. And so I guess in a way, like, Solana's dad is a similar sort of character where he, even when it wasn't quite appropriate, he would have a joke. He was always trying to make things lighthearted. He was always trying to make her laugh, trying to keep her from being too down and too sad. And then this whole experience of losing your mom and losing everything that your mom had died to try to protect, and all of this, like, it's been so devastating. I think Solana has come to see her dad as a person. She's at that age where you start to see your parents as other people. So naturally, like, I think that's going to be even stronger when you have a situation like this. She's maybe, unfortunately, going to slip, I think, a little bit more into a parenting type role with his feelings, because he's clearly hurting. And so I think she's going to talk to him, because whether she's right or not, whether I'm right or not, Dad always talked to Solana to try to make her feel better when she was down. So Solana's going to try to talk to Dad in the same way, to try to make him feel better now that he's feeling down. That's my in-character decision for this. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to talk to him. You false start a few times. It's almost impossible to think of something to say when there's this magnitude of grief between you. He gives you time. When it's obvious that you want to talk but don't know what to say, he takes your hand in his two larger ones. Did I ever tell you about how your mom and I started dating? You shake your head. You know they grew up together in the first colony on Earth, but nothing about their relationship. Oh, this is actually really sweet, because, like, as much as, like, I worry about, like, you know, Solana stepping in and trying to take care of him, I like the touch that she's trying, but she still can't do it because she is the kid in this situation, and this is his role. But I feel like her trying to do this for him helps make it easier for him to do it, and in a way kind of come back to himself instead of just protecting her by, like, sacrificing his own comfort. And frankly, not that I have as extensive firsthand experience with grief as a lot of people, but talking about the people you lose is one of the best ways of coping with grief. Keeping them alive in your memory and in your daily life, talking about them, thinking about them, having that presence, like, that's really, really healthy and helpful. So yeah, getting Dad to talk about Mom is going to hurt like hell, but I think that that's really the way to go for both of them to start healing. This is the only way Solana's going to get to know more about her mom, is if her dad tells her. And it's going to be good for him to have those memories and treasure them. He smiles and looks at the garden as he remembers. I always thought she was too cool for me, he says quietly. Things were, well, people didn't like us much on Earth, so she was always kind of a bruiser. Always ready to pop off, even when she was your age. She and Rhett were the same back then, he reminisces. I always thought they were going to end up together. Then your mom got injured when the first colony was attacked. I was working part-time in the clinic, and I guess that's when she realized I liked her. Oh, okay, that's adorable. So he is kind of like the quiet Cal appreciating someone in the background. That does actually fit their dynamic as we see it with them as adults, too. We had to apply to get on the stratospheric, he continues. We'd only been seeing each other a few weeks, so I was surprised when she said we should apply as a couple. They wanted all different kinds of family groups. Single people, couples who could have kids or couldn't, triads and quads. But we all had to be young, and there weren't many teenagers willing to commit to being a, mated pair. It upped our chances of being picked. He laughs and scrubs his face with his hands. She wanted to get off that planet more than anything. I don't think she realized she'd fallen in love with me until we were already in space, he says wryly. Lucky for me, right? That is so interesting. It's such a like pragmatic thing for her, and yet the love was still clearly there. And again, it fits them. Again, she was such a pragmatic person. And he's willing to follow absolutely anywhere that she leads. Like, I don't know. I'm really glad we get this insight. I don't know that he would have felt comfortable talking about this around her, because I don't think she would have been comfortable talking about it. You know, like, Flulu was in some ways a woman of few words, in that she was very like, I don't know. She wasn't like a squishy feelings type of person. He's a squishy feelings type of person. So in fact, if you were to get together with Cal, I guess maybe you could kind of, depending on how you played well, I guess your character might not be Solana. You could play out their dynamic again. But it is really sweet. Also, Chrono, I feel like there is some kind of a through line between his interest in Flulu, this like strong, determined, amazing person that he's just like, she was just like so cool and so smart and so tough and all of that. Feels a little bit like Chrono and Mrs. Chrono. As a compliment. You're also a soft fellow with a big heart. So I think that's a good comparison. It's meant as a compliment, my friend. But no, I love this, that like, because teenagers being like, yeah, we'll be a mated pair, like going off to a generation ship. It's just like, that's ridiculous, especially if they've only been seeing each other a few weeks. But like, I feel like even if they had only had a companionate marriage of some sort, I feel like Flulu would have made it work. But also, he's just so sweet and endearing that I think he would have won her over anyway. So I'm very glad. Like, they definitely felt like they were genuinely in love. And it is really nice, like I said, it's really nice to have them fleshed out. Because again, Solana is like of the age where she can start seeing them as people. And I think that hearing this will be healing for her, even if it hurts like hell. Your dad shakes his head fondly. There aren't many people like your mom, kiddo. And yeah, she did lose her leg from the sounds of it in an attack, which lines up with the way that she acted about things. Yeah, no, like I want to get to know more of the adults. In a way, this kind of makes me think of Horizon Zero Dawn, where there's multiple levels of the story that you're trying to kind of unravel as you go. So there's the like straightforward like A, B, C, D, this is the plot of things chronologically as they play out in the like world as I'm experiencing it. And then there's the mystery of what came before. And then there's this overarching, what is going on with the wormhole? What is going on with the like diegetic multiple timelines thing? Like, how do all these pieces fit together? Like, which I'm dying to know, but I feel like I will get more pieces. Other than that, like prior to getting more pieces, I'm just going to be able to throw out really out there guesses. But it is really nice, like the story of the adults is something that we can get shared with us naturally and come to understand them better, and I really am enjoying that. So all right, you nod, surprised to feel a tear trickle down your cheek. There's so much you don't know about her and what she was like, more than just being your mom. It's really hitting you that she was a person before you knew her, and now you'll never know her like that. There's a past you'll never fully know, just like there's a future that she never will. Your dad puts an arm around your shoulders, and you sit like that for a long, long while. Yeah, no, well, and this is exactly like the right moment for it, I think, in the characters' lives, and it's really beautiful. Like, her entire death sequence was really painful in a really good way, and this is very beautiful. Like, I feel like the fact that some of this is like paralleling the stuff that I was saying earlier, to me that just feels like, obviously the writing is accomplishing what it's trying to accomplish. Obviously the scenarios and the stories that we're encountering like are having the effect that they're trying to have, and What more can you ask for? Wait, there's more to talk to Dad? Oh my gosh, there's more to talk to Dad. Okay, I'm gonna get adulthood's serenity. I don't know if I'm in adulthood yet. I'm really good at naming things. Look. All right, let's talk to Dad some more because that is apparently still here. No! 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 Like every pollen season, your dad gets the shimmer. The pollen is bad this year. Thick, heavy clouds of pink. Even your eyes are a little itchy, and your dad's not the only colonist spending the week in bed. You can hear other people sneezing as you walk through the corridors, bringing him hot trippet soup. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Thanks, kiddo, your dad rasps. At least he's sitting up in bed now. Your mom never got sick, not ever, your dad reminisces. I'm not sure she missed a day of work from the day we landed until the day she... I miss your mom. I wish Instance would find a cure already, he grumbles, his hand shaking as he lifts his spoon. 3 years and all she can suggest is bed rest and fluids. What good is all her researching if it can't fix my headache? Your dad must be feeling really sick. He never complains about stuff. You check his temperature with your hollow palm, then dim the lights and bring him a cold pack for his forehead. Please, Solana, keep an eye on him. He's gonna slip out. He was talking about slipping out and going to the uncanny valley. Don't let him. Don't you let him. You sit on him. Don't let him get up. He has a crust of glittery pink gunk around his lips, looking cracked and gross, so you wipe it away. The glitter is just everywhere on him, like it's coming right out of his pores. He looks iridescent in the murky light filtering through the pollen outside. Hey, do you mind opening the window a little? For some fresh air? It smells like a sick person in here, he grumbles, pushing away his soup and rolling over in bed. Do not open that window. Do not open that window, Solana. No. No. Your dad is not going to become a topiary on my watch. It sounds absurd to put it like that. It really does. But, like, no. I am legitimately concerned that that is the path we are on. And I am going to slam on every brake I can. So yeah, don't open the window. I will be very concerned if Dad, like maybe it's like if you do like the little thing, he won't do the worst thing. We'll see. Yeah, I guess the light dimming could be indicating that. So don't open the window. The pollen might already be everywhere already. Oh, I put already in sentences a lot myself. But there's no sense making it worse. You pretend to crack the window for him, and by the time you look over, he's asleep again. The worst of the pollen fog subsides in a few days, and your dad starts to look a little better. He gets back to work, which is good, because there's a lot to do in order to rebuild the colony and get the Heliopause's hydroponics up and running. You're still sweeping glittering dust out of your quarters weeks later. That stuff gets everywhere. Yeah, sorry, but that is not... Nope. I don't care if it's like content. I don't care if it would actually be really cool and interesting, because it'd be really interesting. Not on my watch. I think I know where that's going, and I'm not going to let it. Anyway, I think there's still another character we haven't talked to. Have we talked to Tange yet? Tange frowns as a unit of soldiers from the Heliopause jog past her. An entire ship of thick-skulled, warmongering idiots, she sneers. What a relief. Surely all our problems will simply go away if we fire lasers at them. I'm also concerned about that. I'm going to give her a flower, because I've got a lot of those. But I'm not going to hit on her because she really hates it when I do. And I don't actually want to make her that uncomfortable, so I hope you find it useful. All right. Good. Great. Where was the Fire Nation character? There's the Fire Nation character. Got it. I'm sorry. Can you blame me? They look like they're from the Fire Nation. The colors, the military stance. Alright, let's talk to Anemone first, actually. Anemone fiddles with her personal defense plas cutter. Never thought I'd actually be using one of these, she says quietly. Guess we all gotta be ready to defend ourselves now. Do I have... What do I give her to make her my friend? What does she like? She likes eggies. We're no longer desperate, but I don't have any eggies. Oh, I can give Cal... Actually, let's go give Cal the blobber fruit. Cal, do you want some blobber fruit? Oh, he's napping. Cal is catching a nap, sprawled across a pallet of bags of fertilizer. Someone's covered him up with a scratchy burlap blanket. You're about to leave him alone, but he blinks awake and yawns at you. Hey, Solana, he says, rubbing his eyes. Sorry, just catching some shut-eye. It's all hands on deck getting geoponics up and running again. Do you need me for something? I'm gonna give you some blobber flute. Oh, I called it blobber flute. Well, blobber flute. It's not my fault. I say flute a lot more than the average person does. Blobber fruit. Words. Okay. I gave him some bobber fruit. He's happy. Okay. Now let's go talk to Fire Nation. Hello, Fire Nation. Oh! Oh my god, okay. I'm not going to call you Zuko, but I'm going to think it. Thanks so much for dropping by. I appreciate the hello. And thank you for everything you've done. Oh man, this new boy from the heliosphere is a couple years older than you. He's very handsome, and the missing arm gives him a heroic battle-scarred vibe. He stands tall and ready for action even though it's a normal, boring day. The other recruits milling around the garrison give him a wide, respectful berth. He sees you staring and gives you a curt nod. My name is Vase, Lieutenant Olivacious, he says, considering you with a glint of challenge in his eye. And you are? Vase. Actually, if we were going to say this right, it would be Vase, but I'm going to call him Vase because that sounds silly. Anyway, he's very voiced by Dante Bosco coded. Yes, I will agree with that. How do you introduce yourself? I can either say, I'm just a kid. I practically run this place. I'm a soldier like you. I'm into science. I'm an explorer. I'm a hard worker, or I just want to have some fun before I die. I'm going to either say I'm into science or I'm an explorer. Frankly, at this point, I feel like I'm more of an explorer. And we could have multiple levels of meanings here, where I'm an explorer of the area around us, I'm an explorer of science, and I'm an explorer of the arts. Multifaceted. That's Solana. I think I'm gonna go with I'm an explorer. Yes, an explorer for science and the arts. And other people's relationships to meddle in. And keeping my dad from turning into a topiary. And I don't really know. Those are my quests right now, really. So yeah, I'm an explorer. His expression doesn't change. Is that right? He says with the air of a boy who's hard to impress. Nice to meet you, Solana. I hear it's been a rough couple years for the colony. Lucky thing our Heliopause came along just in time. Don't worry, we have some of the best soldiers. The very best. We'll keep the colony safe. So, I can either say we were doing just fine before you came, or are you one of those best soldiers? I don't think that Solana is too smart to say we were doing just fine before you came, because she knows rationally, logically, scientifically, provably false statement. Cannot, even as a knee-jerk reaction, an understandable knee-jerk reaction, perhaps one that she would think. But are you one of those best soldiers? She will ask, perhaps needling him a little bit, whether he responds to the needling as needling or not. We train as a team, but Face says, then clears his throat. Yes, I've won more than my share of zero-G judo matches and virtual riflery tournaments, even competing against adults. All right, Zuko. So I can either say, being planet-side is totally different, or I bet I could take you, or wow, you're pretty cool. I'm not going to flirt with him. He is definitely also not her type. Now, I will say, if in true Zuko fashion, we uncover his squishy hug, or heart, like his squishy inner self, I could see her coming around. She might like porcupines, but for now, no. Offhand, no. Being planet side is totally different, or I bet I could take you. For combat, I couldn't take you, but I'm gonna say being planet side is totally different. You tell Vase that firing a virtual gun is nothing compared to running for your life through the jungle while a wild unisaur hunts you down. A unisaur, Vase says, leaning forward a little. His eyebrows raise. Did you actually say something to interest him? That sounds like a fun sport. I'd like to try it sometime. So he's going to want to just kill everything. Not so great. That would be hilarious, Whooper, and actually that would have been great if I had had a combat, like an impossible combat challenge against him. I would have loved that. Oh, I could have burned so much stress. Oh my god, should we do that? Should we load that save? Should we load that save and give him a hard time? Oh. Oh my god. That's perfect. No, that's perfect. That's so perfect. Whooper, I can't not do that. I can't not do that. I have to do this. I have to do this. I'm gonna burn some of my success and everything. Wait. Do I know I can't change things. When I'm in, yeah. Okay, yeah. Plus 10 combat. Oh. Okay. Do we load our save, equip our weapon so that we're less bad at combat, and try our best? Or do we go for the in-character moment of I'm not good at this, but I'm gonna do it anyway? It might not give me a challenge, but it might. Chrono thinks we should just go for it regardless. I think I like that vibe, Chrono. That feels in character. We're gonna go in empty-handed. I bet I could take you. Face says doubtfully. Well, you're welcome to try. I hope to see you at self-defense classes. Rats. Well, that's too bad. Helio colony, huh? Well. Alright, so we got some friends now. Friends! Nami nami, nom nom nom. Quirky non-binary kid from the Heliopause. Vase. Tough, serious older boy. Oh, he is a few years older than me. So Nami Nami is 13. Vase is 18. Rex, there you are. Adorable boy from the Heliopause. Augment doggy ears. Not dog ears, but doggy ears. That is correct. Alright. Governor after the Heliopause landed. Young, brash, and aggressive, trained as a soldier, but rose in the ranks after the Helio's bridge crew was killed. The entire bridge. Well, cool. That's great. Fantastic. Let us... Oh, man. What am I going to do? Okay, hold on. We're going to just go see what our options here are. So there's engineering, where we can study the same old, same old. There is... the living quarters. The new common area is a hastily constructed platform clinging to the side of the Heliopause. Crews are hard at work incorporating the rigid hull into the natural landscape, creating a charming open-air place for gathering, eating, and relaxing. Just outside, you can hear construction happening on new living quarters for everyone from both ships. Okay, so living quarters, I can practice flute or relax in the lounge. Let's see what we got going on up here. Is this the HQ? Command, yes. View the notice board. Colony food supplies, 60%. Good. Colony security rating, 50% orange. Those susceptible to particulate matter during pollen are strongly urged to stay indoors and avoid strenuous activity. Please note that we will be hosting our annual Vertumnalia Festival during the second month of dust. The Council wishes a warm welcome to our new arrivals from Earth and to our new Governor Lum. Although one cannot help but wonder what would have happened if they had arrived just a couple of months earlier. They would have still been here, but so many people would still be alive. Current Council and Administration. Governor Lum Command. Chief Administrator Seek Command. Okay, Rhett in the Garrison. Instance Geranium, that's Dad. Antecedent and Utopia. See what's in the supply depot. Bet I can give cake to some of my friends. I don't... The memory backpack might be good, but you have to equip it and it's also really expensive. So yeah, we're just not going to buy anything. So if we go to the living quarters, we could cook. Let's do this. So I have to figure out my way around here. Okay, I want to apply to work in the kitchen. Wait, no, but that's not an activity to do this month. Aunt Anne is back looking for volunteers to come work in the kitchen with her. She's scanning the room for anyone who seems to be loafing around. Volunteer. You'll be perfect, Solana, she says, hugging you. Then, loudly to the others in the room, she declares, I'm glad somebody around here is responsible enough to put in their share of work. Everyone else ignores her, shifting awkwardly. No one wants to disappoint their auntie. Aunt Anne gestures toward the nearby cafeteria and tells you to come by next week so she can show you the ropes. Yes, she's the pretzel lady, clearly. So, oh, helping in the kitchen also gives you empathy, creativity, and empathy. Interesting. Oh. Practicing photophonor gets you friendship with Nami Nami. I suspect I was not supposed to get my creativity up as high as it is without there being somebody else in there. Relax in the lounge, +1 friendship with Rex. Interesting. Okay, yeah, so that's actually really good to know. So I hope you don't mind. I'm scoping everything out. Nothing here changed, right? This is all Tange. Yeah, that's all Tange. Okay. What else can we do? Where is our Garrison thing? Yes, Nami in engineering. Yeah, definitely. Is this here we go? Yeah, okay. The Garrison. The Helios have replaced the old Garrison dojo with a huge underground bunker. It's much larger and better supplied, and abuzz with activity. Soldiers drilling, weapons being cleaned and inventoried, and animals herded into cages for study. That's gonna go over well. You can't believe how many soldiers are down here. It must be the safest place on the planet, by one definition of safe. So I can play sports ball. Gives me points with Anemone. Defense training. Friendship with Anemone and Vase. Interesting. Lookout duty. Friendship with Anemone. I'm pretty sure that used to be Dis. Okay, but Relax on the Walls is still with Dis. Okay, so are we not allowed to leave? Are we not allowed to go wandering outside? Oh, there's expeditions. Okay, hold on. I'll pick up this log. Expeditions. All events have respawned. So we could always forage in the valley and get more stuff and get 1,000,000 points and things next time. But I want to do something smaller to end this session with. What should we do? God, what are you going to do, Solana? There are so many things you can do. What do you want to do? I've stuck some points in a few random things. And then I'm mostly focused on stuff. Alright, I'm not interested in combat and toughness. This is, by the way, this is where my persuasion and empathy are going to come into practice. Like, I invested in those and reasoning and things because I was anticipating there was going to be a time with an interpersonal conflict of some sort in which I need to be able to talk people down, stop situations from getting worse, convince people to join my side, etc., etc. These are things I need to do. Hold on. We're going to go back to where Dad is. We can do this. I want to see. Hi, sorry. Maybe I should give some logs. Geoponics is abuzz with activity. Repairs to the domes are underway, the fields are being replanted, and hydroponics from the Heliopause are being installed. Okay, so if I tend the animals. Animals, empathy, friendship with Cal. Okay. Honestly, I think... Okay. I know this isn't a thing that I've done anything with so far, but I actually think Solana, I actually think that Solana is gonna help in the kitchens. Because, man, I probably should have waited on that creativity so we could have gotten more. Because I'm gonna say the in-character thing here, this is subconscious rather than a conscious thing. Solana has lost her mother. And Aunt Anne is like her second mom. She is the most maternal character ever. And I think Solana kind of needs a mom, especially because of the situation with her dad and Shimmer. She knows, even if she doesn't fully understand what's going on, even if she's maybe sort of lost some of her memory, so it's kind of a foggy haze about what was going on down there. She's had to worry about losing her dad. She's had to take care of her dad. She's had to be the responsible person with her dad. I think she needs a mom. So I think she's going to go into the kitchens to have a little bit of mom time, if that makes sense. Even though it's not going to help her with any of her friendships, it's not going to help her get to know anybody better. We'll work on that. Creativity and empathy. Back in space, cooking involved programming ration machines and putting dishes in the laser-matic dishwasher because water was too precious to clean dishes with. But now you're growing more real food and trying to figure out how to cook with it. The cafeteria kitchens are bright and full of good smells. There's always something baking or boiling or frying. You take a deep breath in and just hold all of the deliciousness in your lungs. Especially having almost starved to death. I think it's safe to say that eating, being surrounded by food would be a thing right now. Especially with her mom having passed because of that. So yeah, I think it makes sense. On some subconscious level, she's drawn here. Chief Steward Anne, known to the kids as Antecedent, is in charge of everything in the living quarters. Running the children's creche, coordinating the cleaning bots, and of course, cooking for the whole colony. It's a lot of work, but she's good at delegating to all the kids she has raised here, including you. She's a big believer in learning by trying, and doesn't mind if a few dinners are ruined in the process. Looks like you're on your own this morning, Aunt Anne says, welcoming you to the kitchen. Don't you worry, though. We'll start you off with something easy. She shows you to the kitchen nano printers. Just press this button and the ration machine will spit out a freshly pressed cake of soy rations. It's not tasty, but it's nutritious. Then she shows you the range. A large pot of brown stew is bubbling away. Here's where the real magic happens, she says proudly. She takes a ladle and spoons up some of the stew so you can have a taste. See? For this stew, we added homegrown veggies and spices. This is what I love about cooking, she sighs proudly. Turning raw ingredients into something better just by adding a little bit of work and a lot of love. Just like raising children. That's cute. How about you, Solana? Why do you want to work in the kitchen? I can say, it's like a puzzle, or I like to provide for others, or I like eating real food. It's like a puzzle is an in-character answer for Solana. I like to provide for others. She does think about what others need and want, but I don't know that she would say that. It's definitely one of these two. My personal goals with Solana are more to have this be her building up those empathy skills. So I'm going to say, like, I like to provide for others. She's here because she wants to socialize. She wants to be surrounded by community and normalcy and food and things too. So yeah, I like to provide for others. It feels good to know a loved one is happy and well fed because of you. You tell this to Aunt Anne and she smiles indulgently. That's a fantastic reason, Solana. We need a little happiness around here. Aunt Anne sets you up with a few basic kitchen tasks and leaves you to it. If you need help, I'll be just around the corner, she says. Or you can ask Congruence for advice. She has every recipe and method you could ever need, and she's an excellent teacher. Ha! +1 organizing. Oh, you get organizing in the kitchen. You quickly have your hands full with the sheer volume of food it takes to feed 100 people. Workers from the canteen shuttle to pick up trays of soy rations and pots of stew at regular intervals. Somehow you keep up. You poke your head into the canteen at lunchtime to see what people think about the food. Seems like they like it. Maybe you're cut out to be a chef. Okay. So many cards. Hold on. We're gonna do 7. So that's gonna be the cards with gems. 4. Hold on, we're gonna do 4, 3, 2. So that's 28. Kudos equals goal. Yeah, let's do that. Why not? I love cooking, honestly. It's one of my big hobbies. In fact, I have a dinner party coming up on Friday, which I'm really excited about. And I went up and picked up some of my ingredients today. So I'm preparing a feast. It is very satisfying. I miss dinner parties, but it's good you can start small, and there's so much you can learn. I'm making, well, I'll probably post pictures. I'll post more about it on Friday, but I'm making a brisket, and some sides and some apple cake and stuff. It should be yummy, hopefully. All right, early pollen into mid pollen. Hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully it'll be good. But I'm excited about it. Okay, well, it is actually past my usual stopping time. And I feel like if I keep going, like, we might go through another quick, like, month or two. But it could also, like, you never know kind of when a long month is going to show up. And I did go super long last week. So I feel like this was still pretty eventful. There's a lot going on. Like, a lot. We're gonna have to kind of figure out what we're gonna do. Lots of stuff to process. Whole new set of characters. And like, I have to figure out kind of, because I feel like there's so much. Like, I'm glad that they waited so long to like expand to have more characters and stuff, because it felt overwhelming before. But like, now I'm at the point where like I feel like I'm kind of like scrambling, where I'm just like, there's so much I don't know what don't know what to think about it. I don't know what it is I want to do. Don't know what decisions I want to make. Don't know what my goals are. All of those things that I think are in character for Solana as well. So next week, I guess we will see where we go from here and what happens next. I'm so glad you could join, Sorrow. It's a really great game. It's really fun, really worth playing. Well, thank you to those of you who are watching me for the first time. If you're still here, thank you so much for joining. It's always nice to see new faces around here. But I also love having the regulars. So thank you, folks, for being here, who are always here. Always much appreciated. Take care of yourselves. Be good. I will be playing Aiden on Thursdays, so hopefully I will see you then. And yeah, in the meantime, think about what you're going to do for Halloween and then tell me, because I haven't figured out what I'm going to do for Halloween and I need inspiration. So yeah, feel free to join our Discord if you haven't yet. We are a friendly bunch, always happy to have new folks around. I will see you lovely folks next week. Take care and be good.